Hidden missiles!
Advancing guard.
Foot dive! Hidden missiles!
Advancing guard.
Foot dive!
Oh fuck.
All right. So
No problem.
you should be
There's a
okay.
setting. I
You could.
just found the setting.
It's all good. You could change it. Oh, what you go on? I'll give you guys a couple seconds. Don't worry. It's all
There's a
good. It's all
setting in if you just search or go to Bluetooth and devices, and then there's a setting in that window under related settings called advanced camera options. And if you click edit those options, there's something that says allow multiple apps to use camera at the same time. If you activate that, it should let your Discord have your camera on while it's on through video. It might require a restart on Discord though, or on Video Ninja.
Okay.
But that is the setting you want on if you want to bypass the issue. That should work.
Okay. I'll tap into
right.
that later then.
We can sort that out later. So, all right.
Appreciate
So, regardless of technical issues, thank you all for waiting. Chrome Alchemist here. This is Talking Tokon episode 6. And you know what we're going to be doing here. We're going to be talking Tokon. If some of us sound British, that is a feature, not a bug. Do not adjust your sets. It's good. Like I said, my name is Chrome Alchemist. I am that lunatic that flew halfway across the planet to play some Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls at our World Tour. We will get into that one in a little bit. But first, we do need to introduce ourselves, some friends. And we will start with the person to my right on the panels. That is going to be C4 IQ, the man with the explosive intellect, the man who commentates evil. You know who this guy is, man. You've seen him everywhere, man. If you play games, you know about this guy. C4, talk to us. Say hi. Don't worry about all of that. Listen, we'll get into it, okay? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in very excruciating detail as well, like painstaking, right? We're gonna make sure we get into the nitty gritty. That's what we're here for. And by the way, all of you guys who are out there and are talking in the chat and listening, feel free to make your voice heard and ask as many questions as you like. We will try and answer them all. But that will be after I finish the introductions, because we can't just be scatterbrained like that. So after that, we're going to go for the other regular who's normally on here, Earthbender Charlie. What is going on? All the way from Taiwan.
Greetings.
Say hi.
Greetings. What's going on, people? Thanks for joining us. Hope to have a good show.
Sweet. And we have got ourselves a special guest as well. He is the one, if you type in Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls into YouTube, there's about 90% chance you're going to see one of his videos. The guy's been putting in mad work for the last 6 months, and it is very, very evident that is the case. SSK, what is going on, sir? Say hi.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Thank y'all for having me today. It's such an honor. Appreciate the love.
No problem. Like I said, you already know who this is. You already know who we are. And if you don't know who we are, hello, nice to meet you. We will be doing Tokon content for the coming months, years, lifetimes, who knows. But we are going to be getting into it, right? Because there is a lot to unpack at Arc World Tour. I myself was out there, but we're not going to talk about my experiences and what I was doing out there just yet, because we can talk about the things that everybody saw from the comfort of their own homes, and that is the Penny Parker reveal trailer. That's right. And I'm telling you right now, yeah, I didn't say it on the stream, and I really am annoyed I didn't say it on the podcast. But I did say it out there. I know people saw it. Reddit, all those other places. I said, hear me out.
Lies.
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 Listen, I will live stream
I'm Captain
the Reddit
Bosch.
thread right now.
Lies.
Oh dear. Unbelievable, yeah? All right, no problem.
Retconning, live action retcon, bro.
If you ain't retconning no history whatsoever, give me 1 second, because Mace, apparently you can't be heard. Could you just say hi real quick? Okay, you actually can't be. You actually can't. So I'm gonna sort out your audio, but while that's
Bro, your lies broke his mic, bro. Your lies entered the hyper dimension and broke his mic. What's happening?
Yeah.
Actual factuals indeed. I said the jaundice filter is crazy. Oh wow, I got mad jaundice right now. All right, cool, no problem. I'll sort it out.
What the fuck is jaundice?
Because I'm hella yellow, innit? I'm bare yellow.
Oh,
that's
okay.
why.
Wait, what it? But why? What
The
is
man
jaundice?
jaundice revealed.
Yeah. Like your liver's screwed up.
Do I have to chat GPT jaundice right now?
The jaundice revealed.
The jaundice reveal. Homer Simpson reveal. That's what you got right now. That's me. Crazy. Like that's what we do out here. That's what we do.
Condition with yellowing of the skin or whites of the eyes.
There you go. That's the real source. Everyone asking for source. That's the real source right there. You know what I'm saying?
And today I learned.
All right. So
does Trump have that? Or he's got like an orange
Michael
rendition,
Jordan
like...
definitely has it. Jordan
Yeah, I
has
think
it,
Jordan does have it. Yeah, Jordan definitely has it. Yeah.
Because his eyes are hella yellow. Like you can't see it on the skin tone because his skin tone's dark, but he's yellow. Like his eyes are yellow. All right, cool.
Damn.
All right, so I'm gonna switch over to my desktop audio capture. If you, Charlie, could just say something
So,
real quick.
so
Go ahead.
Skype said the Arab scene in a film lighting. You know the Arab
Oh
filter
yeah,
in the
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
It's like, all right, we're in the Middle East, right? So we got to put the film.
They love it. They love that yellow filter. That was like the what was the filter like before? That was on like Spec Ops: The Line and all them games that are set in the desert, bro. Just have the yellow filter.
Fucking, that's hilarious, man.
You know what I'm
What's
saying?
that film on Netflix with Chris Hemsworth? Set in Bangladesh or something. Oh, it's a sick film as well. I can't remember. Yeah, that has it for sure.
Oh, what is it? Is it has it come out recently? You talking about the recent one?
A sequel came out recently, but the first one came out
I
a
know what
while
you're
ago.
talking about. I can't remember what the hell it's called though.
Sick film.
Yeah, I
Spec
can't
Ops: The Line peak mentioned.
Yeah. I got listen every now and then. You got to do a couple references and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So, what the hell is going on with?
Oh,
this
Extraction. It's called Extraction.
Extraction.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
that's not what I was thinking
Yeah.
of.
That's a sick movie, bro.
I wasn't thinking of Extraction. I was thinking of something else. All right, so here's what I'll do then. I'm gonna take. Oh, I know what's probably happened as well. Mates, could you just enable audio on your Video Ninja, please? Because I think that's probably what's happened. All right, so you've enabled that, yeah? Give me a sec. Give it a second. See, give it a little bit of time to kick in. But I said I'm shooting in Mexico. All right, what do I need to do now to freaking get this to yellow less? Nah, there ain't much I can. Yeah, okay, I'm a little less yellow, but yeah, there ain't really much I can do in that regard. Mason, one more time, please. 1 2 1 2. You're 1, but not 2. Genius UK says, when is the return of first to 5 a.m.? Well, it's a great question. Soon. Once we actually have this game in our hands and we can actually play it, first to 5 a.m. will return. But until then, let's see. Let's get that audio sorted.
First to 5 a.m. is crazy.
I love the name of that.
Look, whenever it comes to me, man, I'll throw it out there. You know what I mean? Maze audio. Let's do that. Because otherwise, it's gonna be Mute City for a man like. Nah. We'll sort it out. We never leave a man behind.
Exactly. On topic. First to 5 a.m.
All right. You know what? Here's what we'll do then. While I'm sorting out the audio, yeah, we'll just get you guys' thoughts on the Penny Parker trailer, yeah? So Charlie and SSK will do that. So we'll start with Charlie, then we'll go to SSK, and then if we can't get C4, then I will also sort out my thoughts and just say those, and eventually we'll get Mace to work.
Okay, so when I first saw the drop, I actually laughed because if you look back at the trailer, like Penny Parker appears, but her mech is like not fully on screen, and she drops into her mech later. So when I first saw the character, I'm like, who is this random anime uwu girl that has nothing to do with Marvel? This game is going to be an absolutely hot mess. And then I saw it was Penny Parker. I'm like, okay, this is actually quite a good choice. A good excuse to have the kind of trombone mech character model style for that kind of gameplay. I know there's a lot of people out there that are like feel like Penny is a bit of a wasted slot, but I think it's a good choice. It's on topic. It makes sense for Tokon. I think it's slightly better than having Miles, because I know a lot of people would want Miles. I think Miles for me would be more of a DLC character, but yeah, from out of all the characters you could have had from like the main Spider People verse, I think she's a clever choice. So yeah, I'm excited to see what she pulls off as we see more.
I also agree. I saw before you were muted on the video link, and now you should be unmuted. So can you say something for me, please, Mace? Are you out there? Yeah, you'll hear them. No, they can't.
I can hear him.
Yeah, we can all hear you,
Wait.
but they can't
We
hear
can
you.
hear
So
you.
chat, can
But
you hear Mace?
no-
If not, we will move on to SSK, and I will make some more adjustments. But yeah, let's see. While they've said that now, they'll be on a bit of a delay. SSK, please let me know your thoughts about Penny Parker as well.
Yeah, I was genuinely shocked because, mind you, I didn't go to sleep that day at all because I was working on videos, and I was watching. I said, okay, Miss Marvel came in. I said, all right, street level, right? This is what I'm predicting, right? We're gonna get some Daredevil, Elektra. We're gonna get like Kingpin. I don't know, Punisher. Let's do this. And then Star Lord came up next, and I was like, oh, okay. So this is gonna be something. And I saw Penny Parker, and I was like, oh wow. So this I was is watching. I said, okay, different. Miss Marvel came in. I said, Penny, love Penny. Not. I'll be honest, not like one of my favorite Spider-Mans, but I definitely respect Penny, obviously from Rivals and the Spider-Verse movie. I was genuinely shocked, but I was like, you know what? She actually does make sense for that roster. Obviously she's a Japanese character. She brings a lot to the table in terms of like her archetype for Tokon. And overall, like she just kind of fits. So I'm very curious to see how she is going to be down the line. Obviously, she has like the Faust stuff where like she can like do like random items, and they can do different things depending on what she does. And she has like the ability, I guess, to like trap opponents in like webs and stuff. So she's got some crazy stuff that I can already tell. So I'm interested. I'm on board with Penny in this game for sure.
100%, 100%. I have made a slight adjustment, so I won't keep doing this throughout the entire thing. But now, if people can just all speak, I'm gonna ask you guys in order. No, this is the last time. This time we got it. I know I got it this time. It's all good. Yeah. So, Mace, say something, please. C4.
Please. Can I be the audio? Let me penetrate your eardrums, chat.
Oh, I see. Wait.
Bars.
I see.
Down
I see the
DeMarco.
penetration of eardrums everywhere. We should all be good now. All right. So, say it one more time now. Say it one more time for me. Let me hear those dulcet tones. C4.
Penetrate your eardrums.
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2. We there?
Yes. We should be good. Okay. We should be good.
All
Fantastic.
Right. Eardrums are being penetrated, chat.
Oh, yeah.
This will not be the penultimate appearance for C4.
That's right.
I'm here.
That was off the dome.
All right. Shout out to
QCF
buttons in the YouTube as well. Appreciate all the good content and on Tokon. Thank you. Messed up completely, but you're welcome regardless. Shout out to Shadowbreed37 as well. Her line Star Guy cracked me up. I also agree. She has a very good personality on there. But regardless, we are actually moving smoothly now after a little bit of technical issues. So, without further delay, we're finally going to get on to the Mute City himself, C4IQ, because that's what adds the suspense now. Now we all got to hear what you got to say. So talk to me. Penny Parker, what you got?
I'm probably the only person who was genuinely happy because I main Penny in Rivals.
Really?
So
nice.
Yes, that's my tank. I main Venom because I like Venom. I didn't really care about Penny until I played her in Rivals. It's like, you know what? I like traps, but I ain't going to play her in Tokon. I'm not going to play her in Tokon. I'm not trying to play big body. I'm not trying to play big body. Yeah, it's not my thing. But I'm happy she's in the game. You'll never see her on my team. Unless she's got super sick assists. Like, I'm talking Flame Carpet Ghost Rider assist. If she's got an assist like that, I'll put her in a team.
I was going to say, be careful, right? Because, people have said many a time, I'll never play this character. And then they see an assist or they see a tour and they'll be like, well, listen.
Yeah.
I mean,
hey, look,
I do wonder if they were like randomized or ground assist as well. If I'm assuming that like her gadget launcher special move would be like her ground assist.
Agree. Yeah, I am interested to know too. Because the thing is, when I looked at her, I was like, okay, so there's like almost like some Faust functionality there, right? And SSK, we were talking about this before we went live that, Pachi, the battle director, was a Faust player back in the day. So that background's definitely going to be there, and I'm sure the influence will be there too. But definitely, like, in terms of some of the other like moves, I don't know. I almost wanted to think Peacock as well from Skullgirls in a way. The little car that runs across the floor and all the rest of that.
Big up Lenny. Big up Lenny. Lenny's day out. I played Penny for her assist, so.
Well, there you go. All right, listen. I'm a say my thoughts as well. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Yeah, this might come as a surprise to those who saw, even though the video was muted, right? The reaction video of me and the at Arquad Tour screaming, saying everyone owes me apology, but you couldn't hear because it was muted. The mic I had, just the battery died. I didn't even watch that trailer for like until today. I
Really?
you know what it is? It's like I was so hyped and excited. I thought I watched the trailer, and then when I thought about it, I was like, I didn't actually watch it live. I was just screaming and rolling over the floor and all this other nonsense, and just like running around. Like the guys, the staff, some of the staff, right, for Sony, they were like, "Yeah, we saw your reaction. That's quite a reaction that you gave." And I was like,
Quite the reaction.
I was like, thanks, I guess. But look, I did take a look, and yeah, Penny, I think, yeah, having a big body is great. I know some people were looking and thinking Bedman initially, and it's very possible, right? There could be some Bedman functionality in there. But regardless, I think I'm happy to see her in there in terms of having a different type of style. I think at this point, I'm so trusting of Arxis, which is crazy for some, because maybe they're traumatized with whatever games they've been playing. But I'm quite virginal when it comes to Arxis, and Exard was the last game I like properly played. Like, let's say a bit of DBFC 2 seasons, but not really. Like, so Exard, and I loved Exard, right? So I'm more than happy to see what they do with a character like this, and I didn't feel like we saw too much, right? Normally in the other trailers, I felt like there was a lot more to glean. Maybe you guys have seen a lot more because you've watched it a bunch more times than I have. But I thought of what I saw, they gave us like little tidbits, not a huge amount. Regardless, Penny Parker, I'm cool, man. I got danger in this game, bro. I don't really care, to be honest with you. I got danger. You could do Cat in a Hat next. You could do whoever you want. I don't care, innit? Like, Howard the Duck. Shout out to SSK. I'm pretty sure you said Howard the Duck, right? Yeah? Yeah? All right.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need.
Drop Howard the Duck
That's
in
what
there.
we need. That's what we need.
Drop,
That's what the people need.
Exactly. Drop the Fantastic Four in there. Yeah.
Oh,
All
hold
four
up.
Fantastic
Don't go too
Four.
far.
Yeah. Listen.
Don't go too far.
Okay. Okay. All right. Look. Let's move on to that actually real quick, because there was a little bit of a bit of a reveal, bit of a leak, bit of a teaser when Max showed some footage on his stream. Shout out to Maximilian, dude. And there was little icons and symbols in the backgrounds. A lot of people were sort of wondering what did those things mean? And actually, it also ties into, what we saw in Penny Parker's trailer, because what we saw as a team was the Amazing Guardians, right? We all expected canon teams, and we in fact are getting something a little bit different in this game. We're in fact getting teams that are more made up, really, just like fictional teams. I mean, it's already fiction, but fictional teams. So, yeah, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts both on Penny Parker's team being the Amazing Guardians and also what we saw within some of the Max footage? Because we did see an Avengers symbol, but it sort of looked a little bit different. So, what do you guys think? We can start with C4. Talk to me.
I think makes sense to do. I don't know if they're going to do the 2 and 2 thing, because the X-Men isn't 2 and 2. So I don't know if this is like a pattern. It's something that they've done. I don't think it's a pattern. It would be cool if they did. I mean, actually, no, I'm lying. I don't know if it's that cool to do Avengers and Fantastic Four. One team's huge, one team is not as big. And most of the people that have been on the Fantastic Four are Avengers or have been Avengers. And one thing that all of them have is Spider-Man, funnily enough. I think there's not that much diversity in the Fantastic Four to put them with the Avengers. It feels very weird. But it's a completely new universe. Who knows? Maybe it makes sense in this universe that the Avengers and Fantastic Four are together. I don't know. So
I do agree that there's not as much flex with the Fantastic Four as there is with like Avengers, right? Avengers, everyone's been there. Fantastic Four has had a handful of honorary members. She-Hulk's been part of the Fantastic Four. Spider-Man's been part of the Fantastic Four.
What's his name? Is it John Hannum? The other Human Torch, the robot one. Or the
I don't remember this one. That one I'm not sure actually. I've not seen that.
Oh,
really? There's a cyborg Human Torch?
Yeah, it's a weird story. But yeah, there's a second Human Torch. I think. Hold on, let me open up Snap. He's in one of my decks.
This has basically been his Pokedex of heroes, Snap.
Literally.
The last time we talked about Tiger Division being in the game, he was like, I don't know any of these male characters. The female characters are all in Marvel Snap, so that's what I'm going off
Yep.
of.
Yep. Yeah, literally, if you want to know like Marvel like characters, just get Marvel Snap. Just get Marvel Snap. They've got crazy obscure people in there.
Yeah, because I know they got like Sunspot on there.
Yep, Sunspot, goated.
Shout out to Sunspot.
I was kind of hoping he would be in the X-Men, but
Yeah, that would have made sense for like a New Mutant and the old X-Men, which would have supported the pattern, right?
Yep.
Because Magic is New Mutants, Sunspot is. Yeah.
Danger's in Snap.
Oh.
Danger's in Snap.
Danger's been in
Very
Snap.
nice.
Danger's
Very
been in
nice.
Snap, yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, look. Let's what also. So what? So in terms of the teams as well, what are you thinking about the teams overall? Like in terms of the idea to bring out these custom teams like that. What do you think?
This isn't to be a hater. I think it's a bit gimmicky, but it's fine. It's a good gimmick. I think doing specific teams isn't the greatest way to go about it. I don't even know why they've done teams, to be honest. Maybe it's a way of releasing characters in a bunch. It doesn't seem like you get a benefit of picking the 4 people from the same team. That's why I say it's a gimmick, but it's not a bad gimmick. It's definitely not a bad one. But
right.
yeah,
I think it's more of a
Unbreakable
lore.
X-Men...
It's either a mixture. Sorry, go on.
No, go Charlie.
I was gonna say I think it's more of a lore thing or a marketing thing, like because all of the team reveals have been in trailers, so that's the marketing aspect, and then there's probably a lore aspect, like in the actual story of the game where it plays a role. But outside of that, there's no gameplay incentive or reason to pick a full team.
Yeah, which isn't bad. Like you said, if it's lore, if it's to do with the lore of the game, I'm cool with that. I was literally talking about Injustice the other day, and I was like, sometimes video games make the best stories. So
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
All right, cool. So SSK, talk to me. What do you think? I know you got a video out, by the way. You guys do need to go out and take a look at that video because he did bring one out earlier today, talking about this very thing. So you don't have to go into painstaking detail because obviously you want people to go towards your video. It's not a problem. But still, let us know your thoughts. What do you think in terms of?
For sure.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I can go into detail. So like, I definitely think that in terms of like the pattern of it, I want to say there's a pattern, but it isn't. It's kind of weird because I feel like this whole team thing. I think the whole purpose of what they want to do is to have people talking, because obviously it gets people making roster predictions and wish lists and things like that. It gets people really just like discussing these things in the community. And I think that because like I said with Spider-Man, I thought it was gonna be street level, but apparently they made it a Guardian style, which honestly it kind of makes sense because Spider-Man is a character that has been around the block quite a bit. I think he's currently in the Guardians right now in the comics, if I'm not mistaken. So it could kind of make sense. And like, and then like with Penny Parker in there, I was like, wow, like it's kind of hard to I guess it's not necessarily hard to predict other teams now, but we have to be more open-minded that they could just drop like mixed matching teams, right? Like Ghost Riders might not be Midnight Suns as much as we thought he was, especially since it's Robbie Reyes. It's a high chance it might not be Midnight Suns because Robbie Reyes has never been in the Midnight Suns except for the actual game that they made. Which if they go out for that, then they could do that. But overall though, I think that like I'm still gonna make my predictions on the roster. But I wouldn't be too surprised about Ghost Riders or Dooms, because I'm pretty sure Dooms is gonna be villains as well. Like I said, Cabal, that could be. And then like for Captain America, right, with the Fantastic Four kind of hint, right? I feel like it makes sense because that logo and how it looks like a 4. And if they made a Fantastic Avengers team, that would be like the perfect logo for that, because it just looks like a combination of the Avengers logo with the Fantastic Four. And in my eyes, the way how I view that team, it would essentially, I guess, would be, I want to say it would be Captain America, of course. And there's 2 ways to go about this. It could be Captain America, it could be Iron Man, Susan, and Thing. I say Susan because it adds another female to the roster, and Thing because we need another big body. But there's another way to go about it, and that's if they want to add even more female representation, they could do Cap, they can do Scarlet, they can do Susan, and then they can do Thing. That could be the way to go about it too, if they're a little spicy with it. Now, where would Iron Man go? I don't know. They could, in that case, Iron Man could be on Ghost Rider's team, or he'll be on Doom's team. I can kind of see Iron Man being on Doom's team. Iron Man and Doom have that kind of they already kind of have that back and forth banter in their quotes. So I feel like it kind of could make sense. They're probably on the same team. But that's kind of my thoughts on it. It makes me more excited, if anything.
That's interesting. Yeah, actually, I think those are good points. So here's my thing, right? And this is, I know already, right, that to C4 and to Charlie, this is going to be Fantastic Four cope. This is going to be optimal Fantastic Four cope, right? And FYI, just so you guys know, I'm not really a Fantastic Four fan, but I have been very stubborn in believing that because this game is a 4v4, they have to be in the game. So here's my cope, right? I think that the custom teams are actually genius, right? I think it's genius in a bunch of different ways. So, they can make it all story related, right? This is something you guys have said. This is also something some guys in the chat are saying. They can make the team specifically story related and make it make sense. But also, what this allows them to do is, and this is something I had actually said to them in person as well, right? Some of the team, I said, I love that you guys have gone for teams, but it has handcuffed you to the idea that okay, you've got this character in there, his team has to be in there. So now it almost restricts who can and can't be in there. What this now allows, right? Let's say Fantastic Avengers does happen. What this does allow is that you can put 2 of the Fantastic Four in there now. By season 2 or end of season 2, you can put the other 2 Fantastic Four in there. And now they've all got their teams that they've come in with. But now you can mix and match and you can put them in their original teams, right? Let's say even in the trailer, it's like they come in and then, I don't know, they would just be like, oh, it's time for me to join my, oh, let's do this, Johnny. All right, Sue, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, all 4 are back together. It just took 2 seasons. Because I was kind of wondering before, oh, well, if they do make it a Fantastic Four situation and they're not on launch in a DLC, if somebody looks at season 1 DLC and says, it's just a Fantastic Four, I don't care about those guys. Let me know when season 2 drops, right? It's not going to be a good way to market the game. It's going to be very restrictive. But now if you do it like this where, okay, season 1, Johnny's there. Season 2, Sue's there. Or maybe it might not even be in that type of way because Fantastic Avengers, right? Maybe Johnny and Sue are the ones who come in or Sue and the Thing. I think Sue 100% has to be one of these characters in Fantastic Avengers, without question. You're gonna have overlap with Mr. Fantastic, so I don't with Kamala, so I don't really see that coming in straight away. We'll have to see what they do with that character later on. But I do think all 4 will be in the game as a result, and I just think it's just genius marketing. As far as who I actually think will be in the game, I mean Scarlet Witch, I would love to see in the game. Blades. Everybody's saying Blade, so do you guys actually think Blade's going to be in the game?
In the game? I don't want him.
You don't think so?
If they do Midnight Suns, yeah. If they do Midnight Suns, I think he'll be in the game. They gotta put Blade, man. It's no way they don't. I feel like people have been begging for Blade to be in the Marvel fighting game for so long. They got to. It's no way they don't.
Yeah, I think the likelihood is quite high. Again, the likelihood for me is kind of similar to how I felt about Psylocke, even though she pretty much got deconfirmed.
Yeah.
Right? But I think Psylocke and Blade fit a very Arc-cis, stereotypical Arc-cis stereotype. Like Black Samurai, you got fucking Nagoriyuki and Strive, right? So it feels like a no-brainer for them to have Blade, but I think my feeling about the whole character predictions at this point is that I just think it's fun, but it's kind of a fool's errand at this point, considering that fucking Star-Lord is in Peter Parker's team. Anything goes at this point. So my only answer is he might be, and it's a high chance, but I just think it's everything's up for grabs at this point.
I want to push back on Charlie. I think if you're a nerd, you can work out I think they've got some sort of logic, and it's not as arbitrary as you think. Because Star-Lord and Spider-Man have a comic where Superman, where Spider-Man helps Star-Lord get his gun back. It's pretty funny.
Right.
So, I mean, it's super, super obscure, but I think artists are working on some sort of cohesionness. So this could be cope, and Charlie could be right. We'll only know, in a couple more weeks. But if I think that they're trying to build a world, the fact that they've got the Savage Lands in there means that they have to either have the Brotherhoods or mutants, or the inhabitants of the Savage Lands, which is like Kaiser. But I've been saying that for a while, and I just want to be proven right. So I'm gonna believe my own headcanon. But they've got every other stage that they've got has some sort of connection with a character in the game, except the Savage Lands. And there's a picture of the Hulk in there. I think that's the Easter egg. But the Savage Lands is a very specific stage, and it's got like a citadel in the background. I don't know what that is, because that's either. I think the connection is that's going to be Doom Citadel inside of the Savage Lands, but it could be where Sinister does all these experiments on people. But I don't know if they're going to put Sinister in the game. I think that would be super cool, but
Would be interesting. I think
who knows?
Well,
X-Men Association makes me think it's probably not going to happen just now. If it does happen, it might be later. The thing is, I mean, shout outs to Takeshi Yamanaka, the producer. I mean, he said, "Oh, we're gonna support the game for 10 years." I was like,
A long time, bro.
I see what you did. I see 10 more years. I see what you did there. But I think in terms of the picks they could go for, they really could like expand upon it like over the years. But I think some of the X-Men picks are probably going to happen maybe season 3. I can see a season 3 Cyclops is here and then everybody's hype again. Do you know what I'm saying? Or like a Sinister.
I wonder if we go back, if we can find out if people have been right. Not the story stuff, like the champion, but with characters. Because you guys are obviously saying Wolverine's definitely going to be in there. I was like, I don't want Wolverine because I don't want the same Wolverine. They made a different one.
I respect the hate.
Magic and you know what? Someone's got to do it. So someone's got to bring the vibes down a little bit, just a little bit. Magic and Penny are from Rivals, and I read comics, so I didn't know that most people didn't know about Magic. That has been a surprise to me. People were like, "Who's Magic?" So I was like, "Okay, maybe they're trying to capture some of the popularity from Rivals because Penny's kind of obscure. Not well, actually, no. If you don't play Rivals, Penny's very obscure. Actually, she's in one film, right? She's in a film, I think.
The Spider-Verse movies. Yeah. She's still like yeah.
So I think it's a strange pick. Danger's a very strange pick for most people. So I don't know if they're going to do many more of those, but for 10 years they can do some crazy picks, crazy, like random picks.
Definitely, you're gonna see the X. I don't know, like friggin' X Vengers, or you're gonna see the friggin', Midnight Marauders or something, and they're just gonna throw whoever in there, right?
Or could you imagine?
Speaking of picks and base roster, though, I'm just gonna say right now, I think that we've had this discussion a little bit before, but I still don't think that definitely the entire F4 is not going in. I think at most in season 1 you're getting one Fantastic Four member. It's either Sue or Mr. Fantastic. We definitely are not getting the Thing. So that's a direct attack to SSK. The Thing is not in this game. Probably now, in the future, after 10 years, maybe when Maximilian comes back around and does like Tokon and Beyond, and then he puts in the Thing as a sprite over Penny Parker, maybe we'll get the Thing.
Are you seeing the hate right now?
We're not getting the Thing.
Man.
This has been consistent hate.
Just put Super Scroll in at that point, bro. Bring him back. Don't even try it.
I'm down for it.
Definitely probably get Scroll over Thing.
I hope they do something random, put Herbie in it or some shit, or you just have the Fantastica. That would be gassed. Just put the car in there.
Yeah.
No one ain't guessing that.
Car in there.
Just put the Fantastica. Just put it in there. Why not?
All right, look, I think we're getting minimum 2 Fantastic Four for sure. You can't call it Fantastic Avengers. Look, we've made up the term Fantastic Avengers, but you can't get that name without 2 Fantastic. Four. If you got one,
It's a 4v4
I mean,
game,
what are
bro.
we
If you
doing
don't
here?
put
Like
the
it's one.
Fantastic Four
I
in it,
think
I'm
it's
gonna be
one,
mad. I'm just gonna be tight.
I think
In,
it's
in
one.
principle,
Bro, it has to happen. Like I said,
It's a
I'm not a
4v4
Fantastic
game,
Four
bro.
fan, but it's logical. It's just logical. Listen, when we see the Thing doing a barrel roll or whatever, curling up into a ball and says clobbering time, or he's got the fedora on, even I'll be on board if I see the fedora. I'm gonna tell you
But
that.
see, I don't think it's logical. The reason why I don't think it's logical is because F4 is just not popular. They're not popular anymore. Like nobody, like if you're making a game with a series, a multitude of different Marvel characters, at some point you have to also consider what characters are popular now. And F4 is they're just not. And we see that with the latest movie.
Look-
We see that perhaps maybe I don't know. I can't talk about the comics because I don't read them, but
Yeah.
like they
No one does.
F4 are
Shout out
legacy
to those who do.
characters,
Sorry, I
and
apologize.
they'll probably make it in because of their legacy status, like if they were to make it in. But if they were to make it in, it would not be because of popularity. And I don't think that it would be a logical choice to put them in mostly because of legacy. Like Wolverine is legacy, but he's also mad popular. Spider-Man is
Yeah.
legacy, but it's also mad popular. F4 do not have the same. They don't have the same double thing going on for them, like legacy and popularity.
Can I throw a spanner in there and say that Danger wasn't popular? And I agree. I think the whole Fantastic Four team isn't popular, but Sue can carry. She's got the Snow Bunny stuff
Yeah,
going on, bro.
I agree.
Like Sue can carry the whole. She can carry one. She can carry one of the Fantastic Four. But I agree, the whole team, they're not popular enough. But when you put Danger with Magic and Wolverine, you know, some characters can heavy lift for popularity.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I agree that it's going to be one F4, and I think it will be Sue.
Yeah, she's
If
the
any.
carry.
Nah, Sue's definitely in there, but there'll be more than one. Like I for sure think like and listen, they spent 200 million on a Fantastic Four film. They're gonna find some ways to try and put them back in. I mean, there's a reason they're in Rivals as well, and Rivals is honestly a good marketing vehicle in this day and age. That and Fortnite, and
But Rivals has the benefit of being able to like put in a bunch more characters, right, on a much more regular basis as well, because of the kind of game that it is.
I don't disagree with that, but I do also think that, like, in terms of visibility, and in terms of, let's say, if you're a marketing guy, if you're a suit, right? Let's say I'm a corpo right now, yeah? So I'm the corpo, and I'm saying, look, Marvel Rivals is doing great. So therefore, the characters in there, everybody knows those characters, right? It's a popular game, right? Everyone knows who Elsa Bloodstone is. Okay, I don't know who Elsa... I was going to say nobody, but I don't know who Elsa Bloodstone is. Like,
I was about to say.
Look,
I think even
I don't
for
want to speak for
Rivals,
everybody.
that was a nanny. It's not even Halloween. Why are you throwing this character in there? This doesn't make any sense.
Elsa
Like,
Bloodstone,
for
like,
normies.
they've been forcing it in a way where I'm like, okay, look, I think the character's cool, but I don't know who she is. So, but fair enough. Like, for those who do. But yeah, I just think in regards to that, I think visibility wise, they're clearly doing some sort of push, and I think there's like, in meaningful ways that like, people will probably now say, oh, I know who that character is, right? Just let me just quickly say out some of the comments, right, we got on YouTube. Shadowboy37 was saying, in this game, Fantastic Four could be Black Panther, Ant-Man, Crystal, Medusa, knowing how this game is.
Wait, don't laugh at Ant-Man, bro.
No, it's
Don't
not
laugh
even
at
that.
Ant-Man.
It's like Fantastic Four just being anybody. Do you know what I mean? They're like, oh, Captain America's part of Fantastic Four now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Future Foundation had some crazy characters. I mean, you could get She-Hulk back.
Oh, please. Do you know? Look, okay, I would love She-Hulk, but I think at the same time, for the most part, I'm happy to just see new characters. Like, I had a great time with the characters in those games, right? Marvel 2, Marvel 3, Marvel Infinite. I think all those games have had characters I've loved. Spiral in Marvel 2, Marvel 3, like half the cast, honestly, but like Hawkeye, Doctor Strange, X-23, She-Hulk, some great picks, right? Marvel Infinite, Black Widow, some of the most fun I've ever had in video games. I'm happy to go for someone new this time. But if I see She-Hulk again, yeah, I'll be on board. But listen, if they show me like Nico Minoru or someone like that, I'm going to start crying on stream, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know. I'm going to have really good RNG when it comes to picks. I don't know what's going on with me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just mad. But regardless, no, I think...
Do you guys think Captain Marvel's popular?
No.
Not for a good reason.
I think they want her to be popular. I don't think she is popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just responding to Spider
infamous.
Like, he's saying that Captain Marvel basically is calling me out, so I'm just responding. I just wanted to check the temperature,
Oh,
see what you
okay.
guys are saying, because I just
She's-
don't think that. she's popular. I think maybe she might be. Perhaps Spider Milk is talking about like, okay, maybe she's popular to comic readers, or if you're really really into the lore and stuff. But like, when I say
Gotcha.
popular, I'm also talking about general audiences. And sure, her movie made a lot of money, but her movie also made a lot of money because her the prior movie was Infinity War, and the post credit scene was her logo. So you had to watch that movie because it was the bridge between Infinity War and Endgame. So of course it's going to make mad money, but that movie making a lot of money doesn't mean that that character is like that popular for like general audiences. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's
I would
fair.
say for
That's fair.
comics, she's basically the Hulk of space. Like when shit is bad, you call her because that's kind of what she does. She's like the last resort. Call the the strongest person we've got. But her character over the years, ever since like was it Chris Claremont who tried to do the whole he was the guy that kind of brought Miles. He did the Four. What's her name? The
Which one?
Four's
Oh,
girlfriend
Jane Foster?
from Earth. Jane Foster. Yeah. He did all that, and Miss Marvel's character got a little bit more obnoxious. So I'd say she's infamous, where people love to hate her, especially after the films. But in comics, she's like, oh, that like she says she's the boss of space, and they put that line in Marvel Infinite. She is the boss of space for the good guys. So yeah, she's definitely infamous at the very least, but I don't think she's liked. I don't think she's a liked character. I think she's cool. I actually like her. I mean the crap out of her in Midnight Suns. She's based.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. SSK. I mean, do you think it's actually that plausible? I know you were talking about like the Thing and whatnot, but do you think it's like, would you consider them to be popular, the Fantastic Four, popular enough to actually add them into a game like this, and would that be other picks as well?
Absolutely. I mean, well, because here's the thing, right? The Fantastic Four lost a lot of the popularity like a while back, right? Like they didn't really like start getting too popular until recently, to be fair, right? Like the early 2000s movies were like, I guess, nostalgic to some people, were some of us or whatever, but like the reality is that the Fantastic Four was out of the picture for a really long time now. And now that they're in the MCU, I would not be surprised if Marvel is trying to push them in games now. I mean, they're in Marvel Rivals at this point, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel gave Arxis like the ability to do stuff with their character roster and stuff like that, but also gave them the guidelines of, hey, we want, Doomsday is coming up. These characters are going to be in there. They're more recognizable right now in the Marvel space. We want to add in Thing, Reed or Susan or Johnny or whatever, right? And I think it wouldn't be too crazy for them to introduce these characters into the game, to be honest. I could see them being in there. How they would be implemented, that's to...
Do you think that, so just to add to the conversation, do you think, would you have more confidence in your answer if it was a 24 or 28 roster versus what it is now as a 20 character roster? Because I think that plays a role too.
That is a good question. So if you're saying launch roster, so this is what I always had for the Fantastic Four when it came to if they were in the base roster, was that they would be one character, like the Ginyu function. The only problem with that I kind of realized recently is that like Ginyu functions...
It's a lot of visual noise.
Yeah. Ginyu functions work because the Ginyu Force kind of all functions the same way, kind of, sort of. They're not exactly the same, but Fantastic Four characters, they all have different kinds of powers that they could all be their own characters. But that's what I originally thought, because Arxis usually, when they deal with like a group of characters, they put them in there as one. So like Lawayne from Grand Blue with the Bros are all one character. Like Ginyu Force, like I said, they're all one character. A couple other Grand Blue characters do that as well. Like the new character Meg. But I don't know. Like if anything, I would see them maybe prioritizing Thing as the character that they wouldn't put in, because I know a lot of people would be excited to see Thing in the game.
What? Who are these people?
I would like to see Thing. I don't know. Like, like the Fantastic Four, they never really had a shot in the fighting game, so I feel like people been waiting on that. You know.
Listen,
It's
SSK,
clobbering time
shouts
is
to you. I hope you get the
making
thing,
money, bro.
right? Don't listen to the
Look,
haters.
look. I'm just saying, like thing, Johnny especially. Like Johnny feels like a Arc System Works kind of character in terms of like his attitude and everything. Like I don't know. Like they could do with it. I don't know what they're gonna do with the Fantastic Four in this game, but I think they're gonna work something out. They got something planned.
Do you think there's much influence from Marvel to be like, look, these characters, we need them to be popular because in the future we're doing a film? I think there's not much.
I think so.
See, I think it would make sense, obviously, because they did that with like MVCI.
Right.
But in this game, I feel like they're not throwing characters that I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to pay attention now to this character because there's a film coming out or there's a Netflix show or something. I don't get that feeling, but I'm kind of biased, so that's what I was asking.
I guess I think Marvel is. I think in a perfect world, Marvel would like them to do that, but I think Marvel perhaps have given them the freedom. I think Marvel is just putting their trust in Sony and Arxis. But in a perfect world, like if you're making a game based in this IP and franchises that have TV shows and movies, it would behoove those people to try where they can to make it come full circle because it just benefits everybody at that point. But I reckon, like, you know, the launch trailer, right, where they talked about how they met together and how the idea came about. It does seem that Marvel is probably just putting their trust in them and is not doing a lot of too much overseeing, probably.
Interesting.
So I take back what I said a few seconds ago.
So
I definitely like. I only assume, obviously, right, that Marvel has some kind of input because, like, they obviously did say that Arxis they, go crazy, go stupid with the game, and then that we can clearly see that. I don't know. I guess like when I see everything else kind of happening with like the Marvel Cosmic Wonder game, Cosmic Invasion, what it was called, I forget. And like the other Marvel games that's out, I kind of feel like there's this plan to kind of like get some Marvel action going this year and move on things to next year. So I don't know. I that's just kind of what I think, but who knows?
So I think they've definitely softened their stance compared to 10 to 15 years ago. So I remember back in like the start of like Marvel Ultimate when I was hearing some of the reports coming out and they were like I played the pre-release version of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Doctor Strange was there and there was like he was saying discs of the knack instead of daggers. They said nope, go and change that. He was saying some other things as well that were like inaccurate, and they said no, it needs to be these terms. He can't.
They did
have
that
it
with his hand signs as well, right? When you're doing the spells.
Yes, exactly.
I
So it's
remember
like certain things he had to specifically do, and they were like, no, it needs to be like this. He's got a film coming. That was a time when it was, it was much more aggressive. I think it's far less aggressive. The most aggressive has definitely been MVCI when it was like they said, hey, in all of these trailers, Thanos is not allowed to get hit.
Yeah.
He said he can't appear weak. He's the big boss. It can't happen. Are we at that place? Clearly not, right? Unless they are going to show Penny Parker and all the rest of that stuff. And you never know. Sometimes they play the long game, right? In 6 years' time, we might see some of these characters and be like, oh, right, well, it was always going to happen. But for the most part, they feel like obscure picks. I will say, like I said before, Danger is an obscure pick, right? Even myself, when I was like, oh, read the comic when I was a teenager. I loved the arc as well. It was insane to me. But I never would have asked for the character like this in a game like this because I'd be like, why would you ever put the character in? Well, Danger is going to be in season 2 of X-Men 97. So they have got a plan, right? It's not all kind of random, even though it feels random. So that's why I'm always willing to be sort of open-minded and be like, what's the play? I feel like they're forcing Elsa Bloodstone, man. Is Elsa Bloodstone going to be like killing Galactus? We'll see. Who knows? At this point, they could be doing anything. So, I'm definitely open to the idea of like they still have plans, but just have they softened their stance? I would say so, especially with the names, right? Like I think those type of team names would only happen if you soften your stance, right? Like maybe 10 years ago they could never have said, "Oh, let's just make up teams," like never, right? Yeah. So yeah, for sure.
They would have been way more anal about that.
Go ahead.
Way more anal.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I'm just gonna read out some of the other, just real quick whiz through. Green Goblin, please, says Far From Casual. Juggernaut as well. Green Goblin, I could see happen. Juggernaut, I don't think so, like anytime soon.
Bro,
Also
you
seen
guys
Hella.
need to put some respect on voice lines, bro. Imagine if Juggernaut, if they put the voice line, I'm the Juggernaut bitch, that he's making money, bro.
Ha.
You could, and you know what? You could do it as well because actually, I was listening to some of the idol voice lines. Robbie Reyes does swear in this game. Like, I was like,
Oh,
oh,
does
they got foul language in this game. I was quite surprised. You just can't hear it
Huh.
because I mean, he needs to stand around in order for it to happen. You know?
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. This was like just when I was standing around trying to like test stuff. So I was like, okay, what I need to test this, and I'm like hearing it in the earphones. I'm like, oh wow, okay.
Slur.
Yeah, slur, right? Exactly. I was like, slur. Okay. Let's see what else we've got here. Does Champion make a roster slot? Well, okay.
I
A
hope
lot of
not.
people have seen like Champion references. I myself had to actually like do more research on Champion to see if like that was really going to be
Yeah.
a thing. And I think people make a good point with Champion. We'll have to see. Probably he will appear at some point, especially given what it is. I mean, we've got a tournament arc. This is basically like, if you're going to have a tournament arc, then a character like Champion probably makes sense. He literally is just like, I'm going to go and challenge you. Here are the rules. He's a bit of a cheater because he had Power Stone, but he was like, no weapons, only use like your natural strength. And then he didn't have natural strength. He had unnatural strength.
Yeah. Do you know, I didn't know who Champion was. And when I looked into the Champion, before they did the last trailer at Arc World Tour, the promoter is his promoter. The promoter is the person who's like, I basically know
serious?
this guy called the Champion. Yeah, I will bring this person to you. So I think with the promoter, it's kind of pseudo confirmed him at least as part of the story. But yeah,
Oh,
I
it does
didn't-
that.
when the promoter came out on the second trailer, I was like, I know that character because I looked for the Champion information before that. So
100%.
yeah.
Oh, if anything, because of Champion, by the way, I think Thing could easily make it in because Thing, as far as I'm concerned, Thing, Hulk, and Thor are like the reasons why like the promoter kind of like comes into Earth
Oh,
to beat them.
okay.
Because I think the story with like the Champion is that like Thing, Thor, and like Hulk were like talking shit or something about like, oh, I could beat Champion, and like the promoter is like, oh, really? So then they bring Champion and like they end up like trying to beat like it's like an old comic where like Champion beats up
Sick.
Thing and they beat up Thor and they beat up Hulk or something like that. It's a whole big thing. So
Oh,
that's
that
why
feels
like
so
I
bad.
think that's why I think Thing could make it in potentially because of this whole story. They could.
that was Infinity Quest, I believe, right? Or something close to that.
Infinite Quest, yeah. It was Infinite Quest, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if Thing drops in the game, I'll main him just for Charlie. Just for Charlie, I'm gonna main Thing.
All right, do you know
point.
what? If Thing is announced and shown, I'm gonna get some a soundboard with like the Thing lines, right? Just voice lines, clobbering time, all of that, right? Just for Charlie.
Welcome to Yancey Street, bro. Real tiny quick tangent. In Invincibles, I was waiting for Alan the Alien, and he dropped. I was so happy. I looked at his music, and I was like, this character looks so boring and dry, but I've already committed. Out of principle, I'm gonna have to play him, even though I don't think he's that interesting. I'll do
my
the same thing
goodness.
for the Thing. For the Thing,
Honestly.
I'll do it as well. I'm petty like that.
I rate that. I rate the pettiness, to be honest with you. I do rate the pettiness. All right, so look, that is that is what that is, right? I'm gonna finish saying some of these comments and then we'll just move on to the next thing. But no, for sure. Let's see. If any last things you guys want to say before we move on?
No, I'm good. I've yapped too much.
Okay. Let's see.
Actually, one more thing.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna find out what.
Check. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm gonna mark the video here right now. I'm gonna make a hard statement.
It's all right.
I think Savage Land is bringing Magneto.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy to finally see Magneto once again be magnetic. We did have this conversation in an early podcast episode, right, about the idea of Magneto actually having magnetic powers and making it interesting. Like, you know, you get like an Iron Taker in Blaze Blue, and you know, you could go even crazier than that. And I have a feeling they probably will go crazier than that. You know, so I'm very interested to see what they pull out with something like that. You know,
you know what though? I hope they put Magneto in the game and they don't make him fly. I want them to do what they did with Wolverine. No, they did that in Rivals. They did that in Rivals.
Oh, yeah,
Magneto
yeah,
does not
yeah.
fly in that game, bro. He is
Old man
slow.
Magneto.
He's a slow tank in Rivals.
He
You can
really
be a
is.
slow
True.
tank. He can be a slow tank.
I just think like the idea, like that's the only example of Magneto I can think of that does not fly. Every version of Magneto flies other than that.
Yep.
Can you
He
really
doesn't
get
even
away
hover,
with
bro.
something like that?
My whole thing with Magneto and Tokon is as long as that's the sickest Magneto design I've ever seen, that's all that matters.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Make him
I,
look
I can
like
see
a
them
boss.
making them
Yeah.
not fly. Like giving Wolverine a projectile also tells me that like they're not following too many like old school rules, right, with these characters.
Yeah.
So
I want it.
No, that's fair. That's fair. All right, cool. Let's see. Danger's a blank slate. I wonder what they do. Yep. And I mean, listen. Also, that Danger is a very good example of like if you just make the character designed like well enough and look cool enough, people will just be like, I'm playing her. But we'll get to that one for sure. Captain Marvel and the promoter had Hulk. Yep, and that's everything on YouTube and also on Twitch. It was mostly talk about Magneto and all the rest of that. We'll get back to that one though. But yeah, so listen, we'll get into the actual meat of it, right? The meat of this podcast. Even though we spent a good amount of time and that was a lot of fun on definitely like who could potentially be in the game and just finally, like I said, if Nico Minoru gets into the game or Kate Bishop, I will be quite emotional. Or Jericho Drum, Brother Voodoo, but you know that's
Brother Voodoo. Yeah, you've been trying to manifest that shit into the ether. You really want him.
Bro, you can even throw like you throw Wong in there, and I would be like less excited, but I'd be like, oh, that's cool. You know, you threw Wong in there. I like it.
Wong would be funny. Wong would be actually super funny.
But Brother Voodoo for sure, like I think would definitely be like a massive. In fact, the thing is though, is I've heard like Wanda recently is like Sorcerer Supreme, so I think she's like getting in for sure. To be honest with you, but yeah, either way. So, like I said, Arc World Tour, right? So there was a whole weekend. The Arc World Tour Finals was there, but I'm not gonna say more importantly because that's disrespectful. But also very importantly, Marvel Token Fighting Souls was there. The build was there with all three of those characters. I took the trip, I booked the flight, went all the way over there, played that character. Well, I say that character. This is how single track minded I'm a Danger. Those characters, right? All three of those characters. And I can tell you now, it was definitely worth it. Fantastic experience. Not only to go over there and actually play the characters, like the event was cool. Everyone was also very accommodating as well. The staff that was there to, you know, shout outs to much of the staff that I did speak to over the weekend. You know, definitely Melendro as well, the marketing manager, part of Sony, and Reed Baird as well, senior producer that was for PlayStation Studios X-Dev. Very, very accommodating. Had a fantastic time. I was able to test out a whole bunch of things. I did ask you guys in on YouTube and other places, tell me what to test, and you guys did let me know, and thank you very much for all the questions and all the feedback as well. It was a fool's errand to really think I could find everything or test everything that people were asking, but it was still worth asking and, you know, trying to do something like that. The thing is about those characters, man, I'll get into it like later, but it was like if they said to test one of those characters, that would take a weekend. So all three characters was just insane to do, absolutely insane to do. But like I said, the team were accommodating. There was times where they were just wrapping up at the end of the days in the booth, and they were like, "Just so you know, we're leaving, right? Like, you need to go." And I'm like, "Oh, please, let me just test this. How do I? Oh, can you please hold the camera? Like, let me just like record this." And they're like, "Yeah, sure, right." So great guys. Shout out to all of you, much appreciated. But listen, I'ma just say this now, just real quick in terms of the overall gaming experience and what I played there. I already really liked the game before in betas 1 and 2, and I know it obviously got a lot of flack, especially in beta 2. The feedback that they had actually implemented, it really is a different game. It's a different game in a big way. I think one of the things that we had been doing in terms of playing this game and talking about the game, especially as those of us who played Marvel, you know, everyone here has played Marvel in some capacity. I've been playing it for like, you know, decade and a half. Same as C4. So, you know what I mean? Like SSK as well, Marvel 2. We've all been playing it. And we do try and specifically say this isn't a Marvel game, but it is a great game. And I'm not going to say it is a Marvel game yet, or really, I'm not going to say it, but it's kind of getting close enough. It's getting to that point where I'm like, close enough. Do you know what I mean? There's certain things that have changed, like the game massively. The air assist change, right? Changed the game massively. This is something that C4 had mentioned, right? That it's like you can subconsciously notice these things, but like when you actually try it, it's like, man, this is such a big change, right? When C4 was playing in beta 2, I remember he specifically said he played against like top stride players from other games, and the way that they were playing the game, they were very comfortable playing a 1v1 game, and as a result of that, him, who was like have much more Marvel background, is used to things like jump and assist call, right? You can call a DP assist while you're jumping in the air. That's like a defensive measure, right? And he noticed that when he was jumping, he completely lost his ability to like call any meaningful assist other than like Robbie, which everybody had on their team, right? Because he has top everything assist.
Yeah.
In this game now, honestly, that small change has made such a massive difference, both in how you navigate around the screen, how you can interact with neutral, how you can defend yourself. It changes so much. And honestly, it's like an insane change. All the changes have been insane. Like the game feels snappier. The game's like tags like do feel much faster and snappier, which honestly I think as time passes might be a net negative for you guys. But you know, for now it's what you guys wanted. So it's great, right? So many things have been added in a way that feels fantastic and makes for a much more solid and snappier game. And I just absolutely just, love playing what I did play of it. There was a lot of like tinkering and not so much match footage, even though I did upload a bunch of videos. But honestly, those changes, it brings it closer to a Marvel vs. Capcom game than I ever would have expected. And I didn't necessarily ask for it, but now they're giving me a taste of that. I'm like, oh, great. Do you know what I mean? For me now, the only things that are truly missing, obviously like 8-way air dash mix-ups are something that we're very used to as Marvel players. But also just small things like, advancing guards, like, push block, and, just like alpha counters and those types of things. But I think the fact that we've got tag and all these other things, I think it's fine, So that's just me like rambling for now. If there's, from what you guys saw, I know you guys weren't at the actual event itself, but from what you guys have seen so far, be it on the mechanics or the characters or anything like that, what do you think about the game that you've seen in this current build? I know, time will pass and you guys will eventually get your hands on it, but what have you thought from what you've seen? Can start with SSK.
Yeah. I think what I'm looking at here, to summarize before I kind of provide context, is a game that, clearly not only is not out, of course, but a game that the developers have really put a lot of emphasis on addressing fan feedback a lot. There is so much that they've changed in this entire game so far, just off of what they've garnered from the surveys that they gave us after the beta. A lot has changed. A lot of people had issues with like the how they couldn't be able to use unique assist during combos and pressure. They didn't really like air assist like that, or at least they wanted to be able to use different assists in the air. They wanted to kind of some changes with wall breaks and whatnot. And they really addressed almost everything in those 2 to 3 months, right? Since the beta release. And it's really just great to see how much this game has opened up, even with just the small footage and the Aqua Tour build that we got, right? I'm already seeing so many changes that they made to this game that makes it look like a completely different game in terms of not just neutral, but also pressure, because now the game has went from a strike throw game to now you can actually set up some like left, right, overhead, low kind of stuff during pressure. And that's the kind of stuff that I like to see, because at the end of the day, when I was covering the game, of course, everybody was playing it during the betas. It was pretty rough. Kind of going through a lot of that process of how a lot of people weren't really feeling Tokon at the time, and Avatar was kind of, going crazy, and Invincible versus, and I kept telling myself that like these developers understand that they have some competition here, and they have really went above and beyond putting Tokon way farther than what a lot of people were expecting, and I'm just really excited to see that these changes has really put a soft spot in a lot of people for what Tokon could be.
Absolutely, absolutely. I will just on that point of what you said in terms of pressure. Thank you for reminding me of that too, and just the assist change of being able to use that during combos, block strings, and whatnot. I mean, 100%. In terms of combo creativity, it expands it in a massive way. In terms of pressure, it expands it in a massive way. And I will say this as well: is that they did list a bunch, pretty much all of the changes that was going to be in this build, and one of them was that block stun, it reduces with each assist you use, and that is something you definitely notice. I think in this game, if you compare it to like a Marvel game where where you call an assist and boom, you throw someone in jail, right? You got them block stun, you can left right mix up. In this game, I think they want to make a very big distinction between like a lockdown assist and just simply like an anti-air assist. If you call a DP assist, it doesn't really put you in much block stun, and as well as that, when you call all of those assists, it's like, yeah, the decreasing amounts of block stun is definitely very noticeable. You can't just like throw an assist out and think, boom, I've got him for free. You do need to know your timings. The left rights 100% are there, like you're saying. The mix-ups are there. The pressure's there. Everything's there, but it's just not in the same measure that we're used to in maybe a Marvel game. And as well as that, right, I think the assembly gauge is a smart idea. Like it feels much more restrictive when you have 2 characters, but when you have 4 characters, it definitely feels like it's a smart idea, right? It's a smart solution. Like in a way where at first you're like, well, no, I just want to call my assist and I just want to put the guy, have him blocking forever. But if you don't have advancing guard, like if you don't have regular push block, you do need a measure that's going to stop people from just like having someone block forever, and that is like it's a thing that you appreciate more now that the assists are used in more meaningful ways. But yeah, for sure. C4, what are your thoughts on what you've seen?
I'm trying to condense my answer down. I think they're making a game for the people. I think at the time when I saw the adjustments, some of them I was like, why would you do that? Mm-hmm. And then talking to people that like play, I've been talking to a lot of Tekken people for some reason, and Smash players. And it made me think about, I think we had a conversation about like entitlement and something like the corner. I feel we feel like we're entitled to get someone in the corner. And that's hence why people got really upset about wall break in like Strive. Right. But there's games where there's no walls. And at the time, I never thought about that. But I was like, okay, cool. If I'm someone who hasn't played a game prior to Tokon, right? Say I didn't play team games. The concept of I can call an assist and another assist to like extend my block stun makes sense. But they nerfed that. Like you said, they made it so you can't just call, if you've got 3 assists, you can keep someone in block stun forever because there is no push block. And I think something like push block and continuously putting someone in block stun makes sense to a team, someone who plays team games, and you feel like you're entitled to do that. Where if you come from a game that doesn't have that, they'll be like, well, why would they let you do that? So I think a lot of the changes that were made were to be like, okay, you might have experience in a team game, a tag game, or whatever in Strive, but only some of that will carry over and help you in this game. I think they're trying to level the playing field for everyone. That's why I think it's made for the people. So anyone can jump on and they won't be like, oh, it's Yipes. He's been playing Marvel games for like 30 years. He won't have that much of an advantage over you.
Right.
I think that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I think something else I'll just note as well, real quick, is that they're making a game for the people, but I also like how, even though they are open to feedback, I think in terms of like the core design philosophy, they definitely know what they're making and they believe in what they're making. Like when I had mentioned at our quad tour to Apache, the battle director, right? That I said, listen, I've been trying, and it had to be translated, right? Shout out to Reedbed, he translated. That was when I was getting a signature. I said, listen, the game is amazing, but I've been having an issue with defense for like some time. So what's your issue? I said I think defense is like it's uneven, but it's like quite weak in like certain places and quite strong in other places. But I think that in like crossover, for example, it's like pretty weak and all the rest of these things. And his response was just like, you haven't played the game enough. Like it's actually really strong. And I had to just be like,
skill issue.
well,
Skill issue, bro.
what do I say? Like, you know, I said, look,
He said that about crossover.
yeah. Said crossover and defense in general. Yeah,
I'm very curious about, because that's really the only issue I have with the game is the defensive options issue. But I trust Pachi, and those developers are probably at a different layer of the game, obviously, than we are. So I'll trust it. I'll see how it works. Maybe we might need it. Maybe it's just my thing about crossover is not only say crossover itself, but the timing to be able to reflect it.
agree.
I just feel like once people master that timing, it kind of would feel useless to use crossover. That's always been my issue with that mechanic, in that situation.
Can I give you my solution?
Agree.
SSK.
Please.
And let me know if you think this would help it. Like in Invincibles, where they, well, actually, maybe you don't know. In Invincibles, basically, you can delay the timing for the counter. If I'm doing a crossover, I should be able to change where the window is that you have to reflect it. Because at the moment,
you mean?
Yeah, so at the moment, it's basically like a Dragon Ball with Vanish on Vanish. The time is always the same. You can kind of see the the camera change, like focus, and you go, oh, they're in block stun. The only thing they could have done was a crossover, so I need to call my assist to counter or whatever. But when I do crossover, I think they could do something like if you hold it, it delays the window. So if you press it too early, you miss it as the person doing the offense. Or if I tap it, it's immediately. So the person doing offense, at the moment, it's too easy to counter the crossover. If you give the defender some sort of autonomy to make the window at a different point, it could make it reasonable. I think that's how they should do it. Because at the moment, it's way too easy to stop. Way too.
Yeah,
easy.
that's what I think. Because because when I was watching TNS and I was very curious about how the high level play would be going through that, because I played in that tournament and I told myself, I said, the people who are going to really doing pretty decent in this tournament are people who are going to be able to reflect those crossovers very well.
100.
Because the thing about it is that it's a very high risk and honestly low reward situation, because if the offender times the reflect perfectly, which is honestly not too hard, the opponent will lose all of their assists for a long period of time. And so it kind of begs the question of, well, how can somebody really deal with that situation? Because it kind of feels useless because in fighting games, you kind of don't really want to use high risk, low reward situation options as much, because it kind of feels useless to use them. Which is why I'm just like, I wonder how they're going to change that mechanic. I'm very curious, but yeah.
At the moment, it's literally only good in round one. When someone's not
Yeah, they're only good early round. But when everybody has their own team, it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's not good at all. I agree.
Sorry, like the only other solution I've heard was like you time the crossover at certain points where the opponent can reflect it. Because I think if you're in the middle of like a special move or something or whatever, you can't like reflect or something. It's something I forget what.
Really?
I think like Kenso was telling me something about that. With how like you can cross over at certain points of the opponent's offense where they can't really reflect it well. It was something. I had to ask him about it, but yeah.
So I mean, I'm in complete agreement with you guys, and that's something. I mean, it sounds like we've all basically had the same idea of like reflects. Crossover has felt weak ever since we tried it. Right, once it's like Mace was saying. C4 was saying this when we were playing in a beta. He was like, while I was comboing you, my finger was just hovering over the crossover button. So as soon as you crossover, I just reflect, and that's exactly what he was doing to me pretty consistently. And perfect is like obviously an insane punishment that it will just spook people out and not make them want to even use it. So, I mean, I like the reason why I have to say, look, what you're saying is correct. I've not played the game enough. I'm also still curious, and I think to myself, well, if post-release we get like a sort of Blitz Shield situation where Blitz Shield gets changed after like month 3, because Venom was just and all these other characters have projectiles which are doing Oki for free because Blitz Shield didn't work on it. It's like, well, then we'll know, right, for sure, if it really was too strong or too weak. But I mean, in terms of like things I think could potentially change it, I can see why they decided to make crossover and reflect the way it is, because they're used to in Guilty Gear the ability to bait out burst or bait out certain types of things, right? Like certain types of defensive measures where you can have mind games. So they try to package in the mind games, but it doesn't necessarily, if in the way that we understand it, doesn't necessarily work. In the way they understand it, they think it's still very, very strong, right? We'll have to see. But
I don't. Real quick, sorry. I don't
ahead.
understand why they made it disassemble, because I don't think there's any other mechanic in the game that makes you disassemble.
Yeah.
Why make
nothing.
disassemble? There's just no need. Like if I've got Chrome in a block string and he crossovers and I reflect, I should like get my bar back, and Chrome still gets out of the pressure.
Yep.
And me reflecting his crossover, I don't lose bar. I think that's enough. Chrome doesn't need to also lose 80% of the game because he can't call assists anymore. That seems a bit like too much.
Yeah.
You don't need that mechanic doesn't need to be in the game, because I don't think there's any other way you could disassemble.
Especially when how like crucial the assembly gauge is, like, in terms of both using the assisted neutral, using the ability to use crossover. Like, you can't do that again if you've been disassembled. Like, there are too many things that it like relies on. As of now,
you know what would be cool?
Mm-hmm.
You know that the new move they added with the whole team comes in and they all beat you up on the last round. That should make your opponent disassemble.
I do like that.
You want that to be a comp mechanic. The damage isn't that much, and it costs 150 bar. If I hit you with that, you should be disassembled, because I've got no more bar now.
Yeah, I like that. Do you know what? No, I like that. And I see. My thought was, if you're gonna have the opponent be able to reflect, it should cost more than the ability to crossover. I think the privilege of shutting down their ability to stop the pressure should cost more.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
it should cost more. Yeah, it should be 2 bars rather than 1, and that means that a person who is pressuring you, using all of their assists, right? Let's say I'm pressuring you and I'm using an assist in the block string. Cool. I'm gonna try and mix you up, and then I use another one, try and mix you up. I want to keep the last one because I want to like make sure that if you try and reflect, that I can crossover, that I can reflect. Now it's like I can only call 1 of those rather than 2 of those, because I'm thinking in the back of my head, okay, if he does try and crossover, I do want to have this option. But you could just be like, no, screw it, I'm going for it. Do you know what I mean? Maybe he, whatever. I'm gonna go for it. And I think that's probably a better way of doing the sort of like back and forth, because as of now, having them both cost the same is just going to be, no, I don't think it works.
It's funny because that is literally why Blitz was broken to start with. Because you'd blitz and then you'd counter blitz and get all that bar back, and then you'd get a blitz war, and it could be infinite. I think they'll change it. I don't think it's going to stay the same way. I feel that's the biggest glaring problem with the game is crossover. The defensive mechanics in the game they're just not there. And I think even like Charlie, because Charlie played MVC3, I think push blocking is a very strong mechanic in literally every game. Push blocking 100%. Is very, very, very strong. But it's very frustrating as a new player to play against. Very frustrating, because most new players want to be able to stay on someone. They don't want to go, oh, I have to delay this button just in case they press this button in block stun. This is too much, right? It's too. I think they can make it work, and I understand why they don't have push block, but they need to balance it so it makes it worth going for. Because like SSK said, the risk reward is omega skewed for the defender, and that's what the mechanic is for. It's for defending.
Exactly. And why would you ever want to use something like that if, like, for 10 seconds I'm going to get mauled? I was getting mauled before, and now you want me to get mauled even more.
Yeah,
because at that point, like, your defensive option is learning the matchup in terms of what should you expect on defense against that character, which is fine, but it's nice to have some defensive options. You know what I mean?
Assemble counters there, and it is really, really strong, but that is still something that has like a clear weakness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it can be
because lows can beat it.
Exactly, lows can beat it. It can be baited. Like it definitely. it's not perfect, and that's fine. I guess they're not trying to go for like perfect options, which is fine. But
Yeah.
if you are gonna end up with these situations, then you know, low to mid range, like mid level, maybe they're gonna be like, yeah, it's great, right? And then once it gets to high level, we're gonna be complaining, and maybe they're gonna look less to us post release and more to them and say, well, it works at this level. But if it is supposed to be that type of level mechanic, then let us know, honestly, and just say, hey, this is what you should be relying on at a higher level. But Pashi did say, he just says, nah, strong skill issue, like. So I am very interested to see how that pans out.
Bro.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it pans out. I am interested, But yeah, no, definitely in terms of air assist. But before I get to air assist, actually, Charlie, talk to me. What did you think of what changes? What did you see out in the wider world as well in terms of people's responses as well? And what do you think of what you see?
I'll just defer to everybody, like from you guys here and from what I've seen online. Like it's mostly positive, right? Like they obviously took the feedback form to heart and they made a lot of positive changes. Sounds like there's a lot of defensive stuff they need to look at. Yeah, I don't have much to add to this. I just think clearly it's obviously quite good that they're changing stuff.
Gotcha.
And but I also think that we can't really like. None of us have had enough time with with what the developer said to Chrome about what did he say? Something is like really strong.
He said defensively, like what we're saying right now that we think is weak, he thinks is actually really strong.
Yeah, and that's obviously because he's had the game in his backyard like for years at this point, probably. So
yeah,
I think there's certain things that none of us can really fully like expressively talk about with confidence because we just don't have the game yet. So I don't have much to speculate on. I just think we just let the game come out and then we can return to these kinds of topics with more confidence.
Yeah, that's fair.
I ask you,
right?
Yeah, I think it's fair. I just wanted to ask Charlie, when you played MVC3, did you think that was a casual friendly game to get into? Or do you think you had to want to get good at that game? You couldn't just like casually get good at that game.
I think back then I wasn't thinking about whether something was casual or not. I think it was more about I mostly played that game because it was just very fun to piece together your team and to try and figure out what works, like the sandbox nature of it. Whether like the sandbox nature, like the game logically or technically may or may not have been casual friendly, but the fun component of it outshined whatever the answer to that question was.
Okay.
So yeah. So I can't really directly answer whether it was casual friendly or not, but it was so fun that's the main reason why I played.
Fair. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Nice.
But like, was there a aspect of Marvel 3 that you feel like is not casual or is casual that others don't talk about?
I mean, obviously, I think we've had this conversation before. It's like once you know frame data, you can't claim to be a casual. you already know too much. Right. Your brain's tainted. And I think if Marvel 3 was my first game, I would be like, yeah, I love Marvel, but this game is horseshit. Like, it's just not good. Like, I could see Flux do zero things on incoming. I'm like, this is the most uncompetitive thing I've seen in my life. Or like everyone goes, oh yeah, you can react to Judgment Cut, and then I see it get blocked once a month. Like I would say this game is just silly. It's just not good. But if you like the characters enough, you might stick with it. That's how I felt about Marvel 3. But I can't pretend I was a casual at that time when I watched it.
You know, C4, I think that this game is going to end up very similar. Like the reason why it won't, obviously games nowadays are more nebulous because of patch culture, and I've never seriously played a game that's been a part of patch culture other than DBFC, but it was like, again, it's like I played the game at the start and I sort of accepted it for what it was. But even as I accepted it for what it was, as the game was actively being made, it was also being patched in a way that I was like, I found some stuff. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then it got patched out like a month later. And I was like, well, is there any point of finding anything? Like, I found something interesting and cool, and they're like, no, this is the game. And I'm like, but what about this? No,
Bro,
this is the game.
When I found out about Golden Zenko, I was like, I cracked the code. Ain't no one beating me. You can't hit my assist, bro. And then I was like, oh, okay, but people can actually move. Oh, I guess I wasn't as smart as I thought I was. Yeah, I
there you go. And like it's so the thing is I think that this game is also like, so initially I'm hearing people say there's still maybe not much incentive to tag. The game is a 1v1 with assists. You can play the game 1v1, all the rest of that, right? I've never agreed with this line of thinking, like, at all. And you and I have felt the same way. As people who play tag games inherently are never going to be like this. They might start off being like, oh, why should I do this thing? But as people get more familiar with the games, it becomes like quite necessary to learn and understand how tagging works, because you create situations that are just not possible with 1v1 situations. So when I'm playing people at Arc World Tour, and I play them and I don't see them tag or assist much, and then I ask them afterwards, hey, what game do you play? They say Strive. I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah, you can see. You literally can, bro. The cooldown is so low. Obviously super arrogant, but I've been playing Infinite. They're playing a tag game wrong. If I see your point character on the screen for more than 10 seconds, you're not playing a tag game.
Facts.
Like you're meant to jump around, wait maybe for for their assist to get called out, then you do an attack and you always call an assist and you tag into that assist. That's literally the most chaotic, controlled neutral you can play in these kind of games. But
Agreed.
most people, like you said, most people are playing 1v1 with assists, and I think there's a massive difference between a team game and a tag game. Huge. Like, look at NBC Free to Infinite. Loads of NBC players don't like Infinite because it's a tag, but they're obviously super efficient in team games. It's just so different.
It's the way you've got to create situations, right? You've got to create your assist by tagging. You've got to also, the way the tagging works, some people go, oh, it erases my mistakes in a way I don't like, right? Some people who look at Marvel Free or Marvel games in general, in terms of team composition, might say, oh, this feels like this, like, maybe not erases the mistakes, but it restricts what the other person's doing by streamlining my strengths, right? And also minimizing my weaknesses. And that's what, like, team, you know what I'm saying? That's team composition 101. It's like, you want to minimize the bad things about your point character or, sub characters, and you want to maximize their strengths, right? If you can find a thing where it's like, okay, I can do X amount of damage, but I can't OTG. Okay, I need an OTG assist, right? Yeah, okay, but also I need something in neutral to get me in there. Right, so here's drones assist. No problem. Now you've got something to get you in, something to actually extend the combos and get you, like, the kill. That's going to be something that maybe people don't always deal with. This game's got both of these things. And that's why I just think, like, there's just no way that people can truly play this game for longer than maybe 6 months, even 3 months, and say it's just a 1v1 game. Because if you play Storm, or no, let's not even say Storm. Let's say you play some other type of close range character, and you go against Doctor Doom, or you go against, like, somebody who's just keeping you at full screen. What are you going to do about that? Are you going to sit there, right, with your character on point with a bad matchup, see the characters on the rest of your team, and say, hey, I could just switch into this character and resolve this right now? Are you going to choose to just hammer that, the nail with the screwdriver rather than the hammer? I have seen that a bunch of times in Marvel 3, and, no disrespect to anybody, because them man, they want to play how they want to play. But the reality is, if you have the tool there, use the tool, right? So as time passes, and I noticed this quite quickly, right? Like I said, I played against also Skelly Bebop, and we played, and he was playing Iron Man, and he was zoning out my Storm, and I was like, why is this happening?
Right.
And then I just switched to Doom, and I just, like, Aegis reflected up, and that was the end of that matchup, right? Like, at least initially, until, like, he had to introduce more things.
Best believe I'm not playing Wolverine into danger, bro. That he's getting brought out immediately, and I'm bringing in Star-Lords. There's just no way. There's no way.
I do wonder how much hits of armor that he has for, like, projectiles and stuff like that.
Yeah, so this,
but yeah, that's true.
It was difficult. It was difficult to test. His armor frames happen in the middle of those moves rather than the start and the end. It felt like it was more a way of trying to catch somebody. Like, you're being relentless with the way you're rushing the person down, and then this is like a call out. It's like, boom, I'm doing wreckers, more wreckers, called an assist, wreckers, left, right, wreckers, and this guy's like, I've had enough of this. Where's my turn? I want my turn now, right? You do
like
the
a frame
armor
trap more than a turn steal. You can't steal your turn with it. You have to frame trap someone with it.
Agree. Like I was testing it. I was using Robbie as like a sort of dummy because like the hitbox was there, and I could luckily like sort of use my pinky to sort of tap stuff because there wasn't like many people there, like at least in the morning. And it was like the times I was trying to get the armor to kick in, it wasn't happening at the start at all. It really was like this person hesitated, then he pressed the button, now the armor's there and you're getting hit. It's that type of situation. Maybe that's something they'll change. We'll see. But Wolverine definitely, regardless, is a relentless character. And I think the armor stuff is cool. It's the fact that he's got armor plus left rights plus the air dash plus the projectile that kills him. Other projectiles at the start, they were going kind of I know I said do something different, but come on, boys, what are we doing there? Like that's a lot of stuff to be adding to a character like Wolverine. Just give him a dive kick and call it a day, bro. What are we doing here? Like, why are you doing all of this? You know what I mean?
They juiced him up, man.
Really juiced him up.
Going back to the, I want to add on to the incentive to tag thing.
Go ahead.
I'm going to play the role of the being against everyone here. I think what's going on is that when people say there's no incentive to tag, this is simply like a linguistic issue where when somebody says there's no incentive to tag, what they're essentially saying is there's no system mechanic in the game that simply says when you tag, this happens. There is incentive to tag in terms of the meta, in terms of what you can do to best enable you to win the game. Of course, there's incentive to tag there because tagging helps you win the game more often than not. But when people say there's no incentive, they're just saying, when I tag, this thing doesn't happen, whether it's I don't get my gray health back, or whether it's my I don't know, I get some other meter thing, or my character who tagged out, their red health starts to recover in the background, right? Because it's not that kind of game, because there's only one health bar. So I think people are talking past each other when they debate the whole is there incentive to tag or not. Like when people say that, they're literally just talking about there's no if tag is the input, the game does not have a clear output, or not even a clear output. The game doesn't have any output of when you tag, this output occurs. That's not in the game. So that's what people are talking about.
So I don't disagree, actually. I don't disagree with what you're saying. Like, the other point I wanted to make about that is that I've largely accepted that there are some things you simply, kind of what you're saying now, there are some things you simply can't advertise without having to just play the game and get it. There's just, like, there is no perfect advertisement for a video game where you can say, here's every cool thing you can do. And tagging is a major mechanic, but it's like, if they can't show you why tagging in a game with assists is insane, then it will just be a matter of time. People will show you by who you're playing against, and then you'll decide for yourself if this is a good idea or a bad idea, right? And I think largely yes, right? They've attempted to do things like making tagging faster. Like I said earlier, I think that could be a bit of a net negative in the sense of it's great, right? Because now I can create better mix-ups and whatnot because it's harder for you to react and all these other types of things. But you see, it can get to an extreme, and I don't think it's at this extreme currently, but it can get to an extreme of 2xKO. Now, I've not played an insane amount of 2xKO, but what I will say is that tagging in that game is probably the most severe form of tagging I've seen in any tag game. Like, the idea of, like, you can just call it the assist, right, and at any point, you get a clap, and boom, now all of a sudden, you're on the other side. It's like, it's so crazy that, like, it's hard for people to truly get to grips with and accept as a mechanic, because they're just like, this is way too strong, right? I don't think it's as strong as that, but I think sometimes in a game where you've got 3 other assists being called at any time and tag, sometimes that slow tag is not actually as bad a thing as you think it is. Like, you want tag to be stronger, but you want tag to be stronger also because you and I and everyone else has not played the game enough. They were willing to actually make a concession, but I do wonder how people will think on release when people can use their assists much, better, much cleaner, much more, like, in ways that they can think up alongside, boom, I can also just tag at any point and just turn it into the nastiest situation you've ever made. Like, these types of games, as time passes post-release, they get a bit, they get a bad rap because they get more either restrictive or they get more oppressive, and people get really frustrated with them. So, like, when people want that stuff now, it's because they want the excitement, but the excitement will soon turn to frustration if the right measures aren't in place, you know? And that's why I think that sort of, the tagging thing, I think give it time. and eventually people will just accept.
But I don't think
this
people are
is-
saying that. I don't think people are saying that there needs to be an incentive to tag so that I get more excitement. They're just questioning the choice. They're just questioning the design decision behind not there not being a systematic thing that says this is why you tag. Do you know what I mean? It's not. I don't think it's necessarily if that is there, I will now have more fun.
All right. Well, I'll just say this before I defer to C4 and SSK. Yeah. So I've said this before with C4. I think that incentive to tag is a bit of a like I say, right, the mechanics of and the ability of what you can create is the incentive to tag. I think it's a bit of a self-report sometimes when like people think of certain things of why should I do it as the game telling you have to do it, right? In a 3v3 game or 2v2 game, you have to tag because you want to save your characters, right? That's like a reason why you should and more or less have to tag if you care about this character enough. In this game, the one health bar makes people really think I just don't really think that I should tag at all. It's telling you don't have to because of the fact that they say players 1 of players 4. I don't think that will necessarily pan out the way that they think it will in a year's time post release. But I think that when you've got a situation where okay, if I want to save 0, I tag out. But in this game, there's only 1 health bar, so I don't need to tag out. So why would I bother? It's like, well, because actually there's other situations and things you can create in this game that allow you to get that once you tag or once you switch your order. I think this game has got probably one of the best assist systems in a versus game, if I'm honest with you. I don't know how you guys also think about that, but I actually think this is probably top 3. Like, you can, 17 to 20 different assists like in a single match. You're not going to see that, but it's the ability to be that flexible that makes something like this so good. That is like, oh, that's the reason why I should be changing my order. That's the reason why I should be doing these things. You're not going to, maybe not everybody's going to be like, oh, I want to do that. I've seen some people actually say on things like Reddit, yeah, I wanted to tag, but then I lost my assists. Like, that's a cool assist. I don't want to lose that, so I don't want to tag. I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see the frustration with that. But that also maybe is a reason why, they've put in the whole just play as 1, and that will work, right? So I don't know if that, maybe answers in a way that satisfies, but if it doesn't, I'll come back to it. But I do want to hear everyone else as well.
I don't think it's a case of whether it answers or not. I just think I still think it's a case of just talking past each other. Like what you just said doesn't address like if you are talking to somebody that says there's no incentive to tag, your answer just there doesn't address what they're actually saying. It's what you're saying is correct and true, but the other person is just saying, yeah, I get you, but there's no system in the game that rewards you or says when you tag this thing happens. That's essentially what they're saying. But then you would counter with what you said, and then the two people are not actually communicating on the same plane.
Right, because I would say the reward is basically the situation you're creating, right? The same way, why would I call it an assist? The situation you're creating is the reward. Actually, we'll go to SSK first before we go to C4. SSK, what do you think about what we're talking about here? If you wanna,
yeah. So forgive me because I'm not like tag brained. This is kind of like the first like tag game that I be like really into like that. So like usually when people talk about these kinds of things of like incentives to tags and things of that nature, I usually kind of back off a little bit because I'm not too understanding of how a lot of these kind of tag games work in that sense. But
your opinion is the most important then.
I guess so, right? I was one of the people in the game before who I was really into the whole like 1v1 game with assist kind of thing. The way how I kind of played that game was just utilizing my assist and just using my one character to just go about the whole business. And I really did enjoy the game that way. And I'll enjoy it even more now with these new changes. I think that I'll just say that like for me personally, like I'm very open-minded to a lot of what people are saying. I pretty much had a lot of friends who were like into Tokon who were kind of iffy about it because they were BB tag players, they were Marvel 3 players or whatever. They played lots of tag games. And they, wanted that kind of like that itch, that nastiness that these kind of tag games can provide. And I think uh my whole thoughts on it is that like I'm open minded to however the way the developers are trying to approach it, and it seems like things are getting better now. In terms of at least like from that end, because I remember the main issue people had during the betas, like I said, was I guess like people wanted to tag, but a lot of people were concerned a lot about the unique assist and not being able to use these assists in different situations,
Yeah.
and because they wanted to at least feel free if the game wasn't going to be like a super tag game, because I don't know, it felt like a lot of people were at least understanding of the fact that the game was, because Tokon, the way how they're making this game, um they're designing it in a way where they don't want people to feel like they need to learn more than one character.
Mm-hmm.
And you can feel that through the game. And I don't think they're going to backtrack on that. And so I think, like I said, the best they could do is just open up the game in other areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like if they don't want to transform it into a tag game fully, they don't need to. I think that like and I know that there are some people saying that like, well, it's gonna be, you're gonna need to tag depending on the, like, as the meta goes on, right? Like in high level play. And to that end, I'll be like, well, I'll see how that works in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm, open minded to whatever that goes out. But for now, I at least from my perspective and the way how I view it, I see this game still more as like a 1v1 game with assists. I still do, because I think that like a lot of people would say, there's nothing in the game that really you have a reason to tag, unless you're doing like what is it? Unless you're doing like one of the concepts that Renge introduced. Shout out to Renge, where he talked about how you can tag into a character to like take advantage of like the neutral state you're in when you're tagging, to use that a neutral assist without having to use that assist gauge. So I think that would be the only situation you'll have to tag in, is when you're wanting to use those combos that use unique assists that don't necessarily use the meter. Because like I said, and I said this in a previous video a while back, this game is gonna be like Dengenki Bunko Fighting Climax, where you have ways to use all of those assists during pressure and combos using meter, but there are also ways to use those assists without using meter. And so I think the tagging is going to interdict those creative ways of using those assists. So, but that's just me theorizing and speculating on it. Obviously, the developers, they've had this game, like P4 said, in their backyard for we don't know how long, right? So, I'm open-minded, man. I'm open-minded to seeing how they're going to approach all of this. Really, that's my thoughts.
No, that's fair, and I think 100%. Like C4 and I are definitely gonna be Marvel and tag brained, right? So it's definitely we're gonna be thinking all of those steps, because we're gonna be like, well, we remembered when this thing happened in this game, so when it happens again, like, well, what's gonna happen, right? Like, so for sure. Even when I was playing the game, another example I can think of, right? So here's the inverse of what somebody was saying. They said, hey, when I'm playing the game, I don't want to tag because I don't want to lose my assist, right? So when I was playing, even though you didn't really see it in the footage, you just mostly saw me just playing Danger, and that was it, right? But I had Magic in the unique slot, and Magic has like the pillars, right? She just shoots all the pillars from the ground, like, and basically across the screen, and it has gaps. I was like, what an amazing assist. This and Storm assist, I want this, right? But when I had like Magic slot 4, I was saying to myself, well, okay, this is going to take a while for me to get to this character, and I still want to play the character. So I was like, okay, well, what I could do then is, for now, I'll put her in slot 2 as my horizontal. She can just do the fireball assist instead of Doom's beam assist, which I was also using. And I was like, once I get the rest of my team, then I'll rearrange the order. Whether I do that mid-match or at the start of the next round, then I'll start doing the swaps. I'll do it like that. And that was like, okay, so boom, I could do tagging in that regard to just reshuffle. And once I reshuffle, then I have a different composition. Also, I can sort of eat my cake and have it too, because I can enjoy a character like Magic and also enjoy the way that, her assists work once the slot is open. But when the slot isn't open, it's like I don't have access to these characters, and it feels like, damn, like that's a whole like different way to play that's just not there. So there's a multitude of ways. In many ways, it's like, you know, I'm glad that your perspective is here because, like C4 said, your opinion is more important because it's less so the echo chamber of me and C4 just being like, this is how versus games and tag games work, right? And every now and then Charlie will be like, well, what about this? And we'll go, and we'll just ignore him, right? But that aside, I think I think it's yeah, definitely it's an interesting way of looking at it, and maybe they'll continue to balance the game in a way where none of these answers are wrong, which is great, you know.
Yeah.
So for sure. C4, what do you think, if you remember the question?
Yeah. I've slightly, because we talked about it before, and
We did.
amended my answer to you know when you said we just listened to Charlie go rare. I actually did think about what Charlie said from the last time. So I at the time I went rare, and I went to sleep and I thought about it, about what people say when they say there's no incentive to tag to what we see. So I actually think they're making a good game because there is no reason to tag. But you have to hear me out. There is no reason to tag. Something that I was thinking about mechanically that would be good, that led me to this belief, is that when someone does a super, what they should be able to do is change the order of their characters. So, Asuka in Strive, he has a super that makes him basically he can mulligan and look through his deck and put his cards in play. If I get all my characters and I'm like, okay, I've got Wolverine on point, and at the moment I've got, I don't know, Ghost Rider in my last slot, but I don't want him in my last slot. Do you know how hard it is to rearrange my team?
Yeah.
It's near on impossible. If I want to play one character, it's actually impossible. So if I am just a Logan stan and I only want to play Logan, which might be the case at the moment, that might just be the case. I only want to play Logan with Star-Lord assist. The other two characters, I'm like, well, sometimes I want Flame Carpet, and sometimes I might want, you know, Orbital Laser from the Sky with Doom.
100%.
How can I change? I can't do that unless I interact with those characters. So a super where I could change the order of my team could help. And then I was like, you know what's good about other games are like Skullgirls? You don't have to play 3 characters. I think that's a good thing about the game. You're not forced to have to learn 3 characters because, like Charlie was saying, some people don't want to do that. They want to play a team game, but they don't have to learn that many characters. Token could be good, like for everyone, if they go, okay, if you want to play one character, you don't see the incentive to tag, then don't tag. Just play one character with 3 assists. So, yeah, I've just gone, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't answer the question about the incentive to tag. I think we've been looking at it wrong. I think it is incorrect, true, but there is no answer. There is no answer because what we say, we think is obvious. And yes, we might be correct, but that's not the answer they're looking for. So I think it's better to say there is no incentive to tag. You can just play one character, 3 assists. And this is how you do it. They could advance some sort of mechanics to allow someone to have one character the whole time, but interact with the 3 characters in the back properly.
Yep. Pretty solid take, I think.
I think that's the best take I've heard in a long time, man. Honestly, like I couldn't have put it better myself. I think that's a really, really good way of looking at it. It makes a lot of sense, especially with the way that they're approaching it. Great answer. Yep, can't fault it.
TY. I think a lot, bro. I'm a nerd. I mean, I wouldn't have thought about it if it weren't for Charlie, because I was definitely on. You guys are wrong. You're not looking at it right.
We were fighting about this for a while.
Yeah,
I thought I was taking crazy pills at one point. So I feel a little bit somewhat vindicated over
100%.
C4's very well thought out position. So
You're right. I just couldn't see it at the time. My bad.
Nah, 100%. So listen, could be right, could be wrong. Don't answer the question. Accept it for what it is. I like it. Do you know what I mean? I think as the meta pans out, the meta is the thing that's always correct, right? So it will pan out. They'll give us the answer, but we ourselves can't really give the answer. And yeah, the preference as to what we want from the game, we're just looking at it in different types of ways. So yeah, I think that's actually a very fair way of looking at it. So fair enough. shout outs to Zeta Slow, by the way, in YouTube. Also, Wolfley, aka Two Chep, says on the
Boy,
SG
Zeta.
thing too. Oh, what's that? Oh yeah, Zeta. Yeah.
Is that? My bad.
No problem, no problem. You're good. On the SG thing too, duo and trio were, for a long time and maybe even now, way better than solo, and yet you saw people playing solo and doing well regardless. Very good point.
Shouts to Wing Zero. I used to watch Wing Zero smoke everyone with solo Philia, and I was like, nah, this guy's too much. And then but then I learned about how they balanced the 1 ratio versus the 3 ratio. Like you get different mechanics, and that's when I thought about, yeah, if someone wants to play one character 3 assists, give them a mechanic to enable that playstyle. That's actually where I got it from, because I play duos. Me and Jammers only play 2v2, and I'd play a 3-man team and go, they've got too many options. This ain't fair, but it was fair. It was fair. I was just bad.
100%. I'm gonna quickly go through I'm gonna go back to air assist real quick, because there's actually some stuff that I found that I thought was kind of cool. I've got a little clip. Unfortunately I didn't render it, so I can't play it here, but there's shoot, I might actually see if I can still play it. But basically, I mean, like I said before, air assist, massive change, right? And in the way that C4 actually mentioned before, that I didn't even really notice when I was playing matches, is that you really miss it, like the ability to call assist in the air, especially grounded assist in the air, as a Marvel or a tag player when you don't have it, right? So what I actually did find in the game is that if you if you jump and you call assist, you get ground assist. It works as a threshold. So if you jump over the peak of your normal jump height, you then get super jump. You get air assists. So you can get it via flying as well. You can fly over and you can get an air assist. You can fly under, you can get a ground assist. What I actually noticed as well, as an interesting quirk, is that if you do certain moves that take you airborne, you can still call ground assist no matter where you are in the air. So you can actually get these assists. Let's say I did this with Wolverine, right? As I was testing Wolverine. He has his DP. Boom, goes into the air. His medium one allows you to get another, there's enough stun to do another action. So I said, all right, I'll do another one. Literally, you can just do another one straight into another one and it works. By this point, I was like well into super jump height. I called an assist and I was getting grounded assists. And I was like, okay, I don't want these guys to remove this. So like, but the people need to know. The people need to know. This thing is really, really good. There are a few things in the game that can get you up to super jump height, and allow you to do something like that. The thing I realized that you can do to stop that from happening, because obviously if you're doing that as a person who's trying to do combos and combo extensions, you'd be like, okay, that's kind of frustrating. What if I want to call an air assist to then get an extension? Well, you can actually get an air extension, an air assist, if you do an air action. So if you do an air normal or an air dash, the assists are now back to normal. You can call it an air assist. But if you don't do that and you just go straight from your the special moves you're doing, then you actually get a regular grounded assist. And my theory on that was basically that the last thing the game was registering you at was on the ground when you last was either pressing buttons or doing something in neutral. And now when you're doing that again in the air, they're like, cool, he's in the air now. But if you don't do that, then they're like, oh, he's on the ground still. So we'll just give you ground assists. So if you have various ground assists, I don't know, like Doom's, like Hammer of Dawn, or the Pillars or something like that from Magic, you can still call those while they're in the air. That was actually really, really interesting that I thought, and that's like maybe even scratching the surface in terms of the things that people will find once we get our hands on this game again. Hopefully, they give us another beta. But yeah, like the assist system, honestly, if that is like one of the few things that we can, one of the many things that we can do that are different, I think that we are in for like a completely different game. I think if that's the type of stuff that you can end up doing, it's going to be nuts. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, or if that's just like, it just sounds great and that's all. It's all good either way. I'm going to read the comments while you guys chime in if you have anything to say. C4, SSK.
I don't have any extra thoughts.
Mm-hmm. I still don't like it, but it's for the people. I don't like it, man. I just don't like it. I get it. Like you said, it's part of the team game aspect. I think it's as frustrating as auto combo on whiff. I just think,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, anyone can just jump over and hit you with an assist that you can't see because the camera's spanned to the top of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just used to it. So I've got Stockholm syndrome where I'm like, yeah, I don't like it, but I'm so used to it, I just accept it. It's just, I guess it's fun that it's cool how they tried to balance it. So all the air assists are dive kicks now, right?
Yeah, effectively, they're like
Yeah.
air to ground. They're like either dive kicks or there's some sort of air to ground. So Doom, for example, is in the air and he shoots the beam downwards, like diagonally.
Okay. Yeah. So I appreciate that they've tried to make it not obnoxious. The grounded assists are still obviously super strong. I don't think they will do this, but it would be cool if they went, okay, if you do a ground assist while you're in the air, you have less blocks done. That's what I'd like. Because I don't want someone to jump over me. I can't see. I do block the 50-50, and then they can land and keep doing the pressure. I should be able to be like, bro, I blocked the 50-50. Well, not even 50-50. I blocked the unseeable mix. Let me live. Let me live my life, please, bro, please. So yeah, I don't know. I played SSK for GR, so air to ground assists are my thing. I'm happy about it. I just don't think it's super interesting getting mixed when the camera's not even on you. I just never thought that was good.
I mean, so I this is something, like I said, right, we touched upon previously, and were of the belief that flat characters are going to be insane in this game now, because if you don't have that initial assist of air to air, everyone has a universal beam. At first, people were like, well, why would I want to use that? This is like a symptom of just having a beta 1 and a beta 2, right? It's just, if you play that game for 6 months, my assumption, just from the little bit that I played against people who could use flight very effectively, Back for Revenge was one person of the UK scene. A couple others were also using flight very interestingly, right? Obviously, you have 2H down heavy as an anti-air that can just like universally anti-air people, but because of how fluid flight was, it's like he could like dip in and dip out and bait it. So it's like
I played
really,
some
really
nasty
interesting.
Iron Man, bruv. I played if in the beta, if there were Iron Man with grounded assist while they're flying, I would have lost way more, bro. Because Iron Man is moving. He can do it from the ground. He can go into fly from a ground like unibeam into fly. And then
Wait,
he can just
unibeam into
over
fly?
you.
Oh, I didn't even know unibeam into fly. I didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
you could unibeam him to fly. I don't know if that's only on hit though. Maybe it's not on block, but there's combos where he literally does all that kind of madness. He's
Right.
It's scary, bruv. It's scary.
Yeah,
I think Doom has to super jump. Sorry, I think Doom has to jump.
Yeah, he has to. Yeah,
think he
from
does.
what I understood, but I
Yeah.
mean, maybe I'd have to test that some more.
Yeah.
But from what I
Star-Lord had
understood,
to
he
jump.
jumps. Yeah.
Star-Lord had to jump. I know that. That's the first thing I tested. I was like, can I do EX flip into fly? You can't do it. You have to jump. You can jump out of the EX flip, then fly, but you can't just do EX flip into fly. Iron Man is doing the most, bro. He's showing all the tech. He's flexing. He's going to fly whenever he wants.
And Storm and Storm is a similar thing as well, to be honest with you. And
Right.
But no, there's like it. Yeah, I was like, well, I see. So when I first saw that first beta, I was like, okay, well, I get it, right? You've got air assists, and you've got flight characters that can fly very freely. So they don't want these flight characters to just dominate you in the air. So they're like, okay, cool. Tap a button. That person in the air has to respect it. Either he has to move out the way or he has to, act accordingly. Then they removed it, and I was like, okay, well, if they just give us something like, I don't know, a lariat version where you can just like press a button and someone comes out to do it. But from what I understood, that wasn't there. So that's going to potentially be very, very strong. In the same way, you're saying air to ground is going to then also enhance flight characters, because now I can call assist and dominate you in the air. You don't have an assist unless you pick something specific, which goes back to the sort of Marvel 3, Marvel 2 situations where people go, oh, why do I have to pick these characters? Well, sometimes the meta just like pans out in a way that sort of forces your hand. I think before they were going for a much more homogenized approach that was actually, I think, a solution I was happy with. But now it's like they've gone for something that I think is a net positive for how interesting the game can be and how creative the game can be. But it's going to be a negative for those who then start seeing Dr. Doom flying around and they can't do anything about it. Or Iron Man, like you said, right? So I have to see in regards to that. And if you couple it with what I was saying before, with the whole, you can call assist in the air. Listen, there's a few characters that will be able to abuse something like that. Danger's definitely going to be one of those. I can guarantee you that. You know what I'm saying? There's a few. So we'll have to see. I think maybe that'll be like a sort of, they've sewn up one hole, but they've sort of potentially stretched out the fabric and created another. But people won't really maybe know until time passes. But I mean, SSK, what do you think about air assist in general, and just the overall, like, because you mentioned before the overall assist system and what you think is great about the pressure and other things that you can create. What about things like the air assist and the removal of like the beam, like the horizontal air assists? What are your thoughts on like how that affect the game?
So before I was actually one of the ones that like didn't mind the air assist. In terms of like I like the idea of it. I'll just say that. I like the idea of using horizontal I like the idea of air assist being horizontal to control space so that you can control some space on the ground, because a lot of these kind of team games, one of the things I really like about them is the different areas of the screen you can control.
Yeah.
And I like that the horizontal was that one that was made that way. And they I had noticed, because I had memorized a lot of their assists, and I had noticed that like when they showed off one of the changes, Spider-Man did his diagonal air to ground assist, and I was like, oh, so did they give us an option like to do like horizontal assist or like a air to ground assist? That would be pretty sick too, because I like options. I like being given the options to do something. Um, and I guess apparently it's just all air to ground. Um, I like it. I do wonder how useful it would be. I only kind of feel like it would be useful like really mostly like in neutral, obviously, of course, in like space control situations, maintaining the corner. Um, and I think that what I would say about it is that this air to ground assist situation is like the perfect example of like I would say the developers trying to find ways and do their best to not have a meta when it comes to assists.
Yeah.
Because I feel like even with the Universal Striker situation, right? That whole filler assist, Universal Striker assist, however assist you want to call it, was made because I feel like they didn't want like a meta to have more like assists, because I feel like fighters kind of like made them kind of want to approach things differently.
Yeah.
And they wanted air assist and everything because like obviously like another 3v3 games, right, or whatever, assists aren't this kind of like, okay, there's a diagonal assist, there's a down, like it's only like, okay, you have an anti-air assist, you have a ground assist, and you have like your whatever, right? And that was like always like I think the normal thing. um but this air assist kind of adds on more like layers to it, that it kind of feels like, okay, well, now this is the way to do it now, compared to like horizontal assist. Now is air to ground, and I'm kind of just interested in, like I said, I just want to know how it would actually work high level wise, because I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't, I can't imagine in my mind how the air to ground assist would really like help, particularly mainly because you have to super jump to do it.
Yeah.
You have to double jump to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you could normal jump and do it, that'd be different, because I feel like you could maybe do some stuff with that. But now that you only super jumper to do it, then it's like I don't know how to feel about that, to be honest.
I got you. I got you. I could see what you mean in that regards. I suppose like in terms of some examples that I could potentially think of, right? Um, so magic in terms of the way that her portals work, it's like maybe you could get to a height where you're above the threshold, maybe call something and then like portal in or something like that. But that's like not a universal case, right? That's like you wouldn't be able to do that with, I don't know, like Kamala or something, right? So I hear it. There's definitely going to be unique ways in which people interact with it. And if it was normal jump, like you said, because that is kind of how initially the way it's translated, it felt like it was going to be, oh, you jump straight up to the peak of your normal jump and you get it. But then it wasn't that at all. They said, no, you have to like double jump or super jump. And that's where it became more of a, okay, this is more specialist, you know? Okay, yeah, no problem. So yeah, in that regards, I think there's going to be a bunch of different applications, and I think also the fact that Doom has a beam and Magic, for example, has a dive kick, it's going to be much more of a okay, I can call this situation for like because Magic will be able to be stuffed, like, but Doom won't be able to because it's a beam, right? there's going to be different values for different situations. The way in which like Magic's dive kick as well, I believe ground bounces like aerial opponents, so the way you can pick up is going to be quite differently. There's going to be like a number of different things in which we could apply in neutral, which I think is going to be quite interesting. But for sure, certain characters in the way that they're going to be able to utilize it is not going to be as simple for some, and it's going to be more simple for others, right? Like I said, someone like Doom with flight, you got the threshold right there. He could go jump assist, ground assist, jump assist. Do you know what I mean? That's like a very interesting way in which he can interact. He can go boom. I want the unique storm assist on the ground, because the air assist is going to be what the icicle. Then I want the dive kick assist. Now I want to go in, right? So now you've got the situation where you're getting dragged forward, you're getting dive kicked by like Magic, and then you've got Doom sort of like floating around, like wondering what he's about to do with you. It's like those are really like sick situations that I think like as the time passes are all going to be like really interesting to come out with. I think again they know how egregious those things can be, and as a result they're like trying to minimize the block stun as much as they can. They're like, if you're going to call these assists, know what you're doing. Don't just throw them out and think, boom, I've got you, right? It's drones assist, it's hidden missiles, it's whatever, right? It's not going to be that. It's going to be call those assists and know if you want it left, right, or know if you want this type of situation, that type of situation. But yeah, either way, it's going to be quite interesting to see how those will pan out. So, right, any last thoughts on that before I move on to just a quick run through of the characters in general? I know we talked about Wolverine and some of Magic, but just to quickly just go through all of it. Any last thoughts on what we were just talking about before I move on?
Nope.
No, I'm good.
What other topics are we going to go through?
It's literally just, I'm just going to run through the characters and then just wrap up effectively, and that'll be it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah. Like I said, I mean, I'll try not to just do too much monologuing, because obviously I want to hear your thoughts on what you guys thought about some of the way the characters looked and how they played. But yeah, I did try all three of those characters, Magic, Wolverine, and Danger. And I mean, obviously, Danger fanboy aside, I did find them all interesting. I like, obviously Wolverine I tried the least, but I did still try and test out as much as I could with him. And I mean, they're giving his like dive punch, which is like a dive kick, a wrecker, which is insane. Like, I don't know why they've decided to do something like that, but everyone seems to like the look of him, so fantastic. You know, I hope you guys are happy. I'm not going to be happy whenever I'm blocking that stuff, but whatever. You know what I mean? And I think the idea of the way his berserker like rage also works with every time you land a successful wrecker, it activates your berserker rage, and then you get like extensions at the end of your wreckers, which then does more chip, more damage. You know, different values in terms of frame advantage. All very interesting stuff. I think he's going to be just a nasty character. Also, his ability to, on his Weapon X, to cross up or same side on all three of his strengths. Like light, medium, and heavy version, you tap them and yeah, they cross over. But if you hold back, then it does a much shallower version of it, in which you land on the same side. And you can also make it kind of ambiguous in the way that lands on someone's head. And same thing with medium, same thing with heavy. I think it's just going to be like crazy. I think that character's... Yeah, I'm already traumatized. Let's just say that, basically. And I'm not even like probably like the character. I'm not liking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, C4, you said, you're liking it. Leo function.
Yeah. I'll quickly go through all of them now. I've got to go to the toilet real quick.
Go for it.
Yeah,
go for
Danger. Danger looks cool. Just doing stuff on screen. Kind of my thing. I just don't like the air stuff. I don't like that she doesn't have a dash, so I probably won't play her. But she does look super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Aegis Persona vibes. Magic. Magic is interesting for me. She's like a very obviously. This is just me personally. The whole portal thing is cool.
Yeah.
But only for me, it would only go to T mode. I'll never want to hit it in a match. It's just not my kind of thing.
Right.
Doing the stuff of like getting the opponent in the air so the pillar hits twice, that was kind of cool. And there's some people, shout outs to Jads, he didn't care about Tokon until he saw the magic combo. He's like, oh, that looks like a cool combo. I'm interested. So yeah, I think they've really done well in terms of making. I think we can all look at something and go, "Oh, that's interesting," but not everything is. Oh, I want to do it. So even though I saw Danger and Magic, I don't want to do it. It just looks cool. But Wolverine, he is, to me, he's close enough to Leo. I know some people were upset because making that comparison when he's not like Leo exactly. To me, the reason Leo is interesting is because when you go up against a tryhard that's like, just fuzzy block, it won't hit you, don't worry. Yeah, you could, but I like the ability to mix things up. I like hitting people that say that this should never hit. And I think Wolverine has that in spades. Everything he does is like, oh yeah, he's only got that one option. You should have been ready for it or whatever. I can't wait to hit people with it. I can't wait. I can't wait to do like Wrecker into 30 frames of armor and then counter hit you because you was too scared to press something earlier or to jump out. I think to me, he's just anime Leo. He's got an air fireball. I always wanted an air fireball Leo, and I was like, they'll never give him that. That's absurd. He's got it. Leo has guard point where Wolverine has armor. He has a slow moving projectile. He has it's a DP and not a flash kick. But did you say it's a DP motion or the down motion? It's a DP motion, right?
It's a down motion.
Oh, he's Leo, bro. Look,
the Weapon X, right? The one where he goes in there.
The uppercut. In Tokon, there are no like invincible uppercuts, right?
Not to my knowledge. The only invincible reversals are all just supers.
Yeah, the supers. Okay, so yeah, he's uppercut-ish move where he goes in the air, and I think he can ID from it. If that's down, he's basically just anime Leo. And I'm not mad that he doesn't have like a traditional cross-up like from a block string on the ground. That was to me the least impressive thing that Leo did. It was the least impressive. So I'm glad they don't have that, but he still got high lows. Like I said, I was never a Wolverine fan. I didn't want him in the game, but James Hullet or Logan, whatever you want to call him, Patch, all the names, put him in the game, and he's not like every other version of Wolverine. I'm all for it. I was so convinced I was going to play Spider-Man and Star-Lords. I don't care about Spider-Man anymore. I like that character.
What?
I know. I was going in with Spider-Man. I really like that character, but I just don't care anymore because I'm just going to have Wolverine on point.
Interesting. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Before you go to P, did you see the way that they were roasting me in replies when I said Leo function? They were like, "Where's the back turn starts? There ain't no back turn starts. This ain't Leo, man. What the hell are you talking about? Look at this casual."
I almost got mad, and then respectfully, I realized it was all Strive players. So I was like, I said, okay, cool. If they were Exiled players, then I might have said something, but it was all Strive players.
Okay, fair enough. You still able to hear me when SSK and I talk and Charlie as well?
Yeah, I'll be able to hear. Yeah.
All right, no problem. Go for that, and then we'll just go for it. SSK. Well, so I noticed you said that you were going to try out Danger as well, right? Before we get to that, I mean, Wolverine. Is that character you see yourself playing, like a character like that?
Oh, definitely. Based off what I've seen, he is definitely like a character that I am going to try out for sure. I'm definitely interested in him because I just like his Rekka stuff he's got going on. I like the armor things that he can get into that. And overall, like he's just really cool. Wolverine was always a cool character to me in like Marvel fighting games. But obviously, I'm the kind of person that I do like to play a little far back and play a little zoning, a little mid screen. But I will play some Wolverine for sure. I'll play some Wolverine for sure. Absolutely.
Sounds good. Yeah, man. Charlie, I mean, who have you liked the look of the most out of like who you've seen of the three characters?
I think design wise they're all quite good. I would say tier list would be Danger as like the best, the most interesting to me, and then Magic. Well, Danger and Magic are like a close tie almost, with Danger pulling ahead a tiny bit, and then Wolverine being in third. But what I like about these new characters is that like I like noticing the Arxis DNA from other characters in their previous games in these characters. Like even small things like Danger's dash. Well, it's not really a dash, but her, like when you tap forward, it's like the Morrigan. It's like the Eno's dash from Guilty Gear, and also
dash.
Morrigan's kind of glide up from the Marvel games. and basically seeing aspect or like the Wolverine Leo stuff going on, right? Like that's my favorite thing to see, because it's probably fun for them to do that, like because like having the DNA from previous games, but it also probably saves them a bit of time as well. Like they can just pull up a spreadsheet of all their other characters and be like, what normals and specials can we kind of like copy paste like onto these characters, and I think that's a clever way to do it. So um, in terms of who I'd play between these three, so far in the game, like Miss Marvel is my the character I'm interested in the
Oh,
most from when I played the beta. Like just in terms of
Hmm.
how she controls and what she does, like that's currently the character I'm most interested to play. So
okay, interesting.
maybe like Danger's definitely not a character that I would play, like way too complicated for me. I'm not trying to do fucking Zatoichi, JP screen traps and shit like that. But yeah, no, I definitely know there's people out there that are into that kind of play style. So, or even Penny Parker, who looks like she might be doing some Bedman type stuff.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I just like seeing like when they release the next character, I'm curious to see what DNA from previous games is going to be in that character. So
no,
that's my take
100%,
on that.
100%.
I always love fighting against Miss Marvel. I do wonder if they like kind of changed up a little bit because I know you could like hit her limbs all the time. So a lot of
Yeah,
Miss
yeah,
Marvel players are suffering a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I see why in like a 1v1 game, like why that's necessary, right? And the thing about the way that you can see the thing about this game is you can see that they made Guilty Gear games, right? Because actually these characters are quite self-sufficient despite it being an assist game or a team game. Like if you go to Marvel 3, for example, Marvel 3 as a game, characters have clear weaknesses. Obviously, the top tier characters are going to say, "Oh, well, they have no weaknesses." Even some of those have like shortcomings and weaknesses, right? And you need to build teams around them because they're doing the whole players one, players four. They're kind of just like baking in the characters as if it's like, "Oh, here's how they would be in friggin' Guilty Gear, right? This is how they'd be designed. Go for it, right? Also, here's some assists, so throw that in too. See what you can make." But they're not kind of like doing the whole, well, you need to make this team in order to make this character work. They're just like, just enjoy, you know? And I think you can truly see it in the designs. Like they're making very, like even Magic, right? So Magic is like, I think Magic's a gorilla of a character, honestly. Like she's a gorilla, but she's got flexibility, and this is something that my friend Switch player did point out actually, which I'll get into in a second. But she she's okay. She's got sword normals, right? Massive normals. She in a way when she starts swinging, you're kind of like, when is my turn? Especially if she does it at the right spacing. What I noticed about her moves is that her, I think Soul Slicer is like if you do it at point blank, it's jab punishable on all strengths, right? Light, medium, and EX, all punishable. But if you do it at the right spacing, your jab's not going to land. So, you know, if you space things out correctly, you're going to be good. But the thing is about that character as well is that, so she has the portals, which everyone has been mentioning, right? And showing. Even I had sort of, I'd uploaded a video, but then as I played the game more, I've realized more stuff. So, yes, if you do your portals and then you do a direction after teleporting through the portal, up back is like teleporting above someone's heads, up forward cross up, down back cross up behind, down forward in front, right? Cool, you can do all of that. If you tap the unique button again, you get a canned attack. So you can get a dive kick that goes same side of cross up if you tap unique during magic stuff. If you're in the air, it ground bounces you, so you can get a follow up. If you're not in the air, it smacks you on the ground, and solo you can't actually do any combos. But with an assist, a lariat assist or a universal strike, you absolutely can get a follow up. So for the most part, right, you can actually find ways to mix up solo and potentially get, you know, follow-ups depending on, you know, how you interact, how the person responds. If their feet are planted on the ground, you have to use your assembly gauge. But regardless, it's that idea of like they're just making almost a Guilty Gear character. You can see a character like that just being in a Guilty Gear game and you wouldn't even blink, right? You'd be like, you wouldn't say, oh, this character needs X or needs Y in order to still be a good character. Actually, they've kind of got everything they need. And now they've got assists, which is very interesting. So that's the way they've sort of designed a bunch of these characters. And also in the terms of like their fullness of kit, my friend Switchplayer did say, like, he likes how he looks at that character, and he thinks that two different people could say, "Oh, I'm gonna zone with that character." Another person goes, "No, I'm just gonna straight mix up." And even though there might eventually be a wrong answer, it feels like both of them initially are going to be right because they've presented this like fullness of the kit, which is really, really cool, right? If you just want to throw fireballs, and this is something that even as, you know, granted, I was very early on with Danger. I was playing against Virgil May Cry. Shout out to Virgil May Cry on Twitter. I'm gonna upload that video tomorrow. Also, I've got 2 more sets to upload. He was throwing fireballs, and I was like, okay, we're getting a bit of a back and forth going in terms of like a fireball war, and I had to sort of be a bit more creative. You know, he also had the pillars as well, so it's like that character who seems like she's just like a real roughhouser also has that ability to then flesh out her way to play, and maybe if you with the right assist and assist setups, you can just zone with her, and you know that person has to deal with that. So it's very, very interesting, you know, and yeah, it's definitely very, very. I there's just too much. There's too much to mine. Like I said to you, man. Like to go through 3 characters over a weekend. If I said one of those characters take 3 days to then go through like Magic, we'd be there all weekend. And it was like all 3 characters. Oh, also Danger has all of this kit. All of this kit. By the way, shouts to everybody who, you know, that the Danger breakdown is coming tomorrow. Thank you for your patience. If you do care, I have seen some people still asking for it, so much appreciated. I hope that, you know, I can give that to you and that's going to be useful to you guys. But it was scope creep. There was so much to the character, so many interesting interactions and stuff that I just felt like everybody had to know. That I just kept making and adding to the video. But it's going to hopefully be something that you guys will appreciate. But there's so much to all 3 of those characters. Even Wolverine, like for all we said, like C4 has said, the character is actually probably the most interesting and the most fleshed out. Like you said, he has an air fireball. He does an air fireball. You know his air fireball as well ground bounces you. Like if you do the medium version.
So, what?
In no ground bounce.
Wait.
Yeah. So if you're doing the air series and you do the medium, boom, the ground bounces him and you can land and you can actually get an extension. The character's just
all right.
What do you mean, all right? I don't want to hear that.
I'm for it, man. I love that. I love that for him.
Honestly,
I really do.
I love that for him too. Listen, live your life, your best life. You know what I mean?
I will.
But definitely, and like, yeah, Magic. Like, I mean, Danger. Like I said, it's videos coming. I'm not gonna be able to explain all of it, but just like I said, man, like character's just insane. She's the most complex I've seen in a while. Venom. Shout outs to Reedbed. He actually told me directly, think of Venom when you think of the character, and I think that is a good way of looking at it. But definitely, I can see Mu 13 and Venom and a bunch of other sort of design philosophies in that character. She zones the rushdowners, she zones the zoners, she zones the anti-zoners. Like, I've got another set up another matchup set. Excuse me, thank you. To upload, and it's with Radic. He was the one who uploaded some of the early footage of the exhibition. So shout outs to Radic as well and Esports. Yeah, he was playing against me, and he was playing very differently to everybody else. Like me and him were very similar players. I think people are gonna watch the set and they're gonna be like, these guys are just sitting full screen. What the hell is this crap, right? But you're gonna hear me just being like, oh man, this is the best set ever, and everyone's gonna be like, what the hell is this? Because we're sitting there and we're basically like, I'm throwing a beam, and he's like, okay, how do I deal with this? Oh, I've got Aegis Reflector. All right, okay, I've dealt with that. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. How do I deal with this situation? Then with like dangerous like satellites, her calibrates, I can then adjust the angles in which I'm throwing beams. So then I'm like doing at like oblique angles that are just like hitting over the Aegis Reflector. And then he's like, oh wow, yeah, you could do that. So what do I do in this situation? And it's like that back and forth makes like really dynamic matchups that like you can create with like this single character, right? Like I'm calling like regular assist and it's not working against Doom because he just like hard counters. But then I can create these other situations that he needs to be like, okay, now I need to be mobile. How do I then deal with this situation? And like that, I was like, it made me appreciate the game even more, right? Because I already appreciate a lot of these games because kind of like you guys, man, the brain stays on. I'm always thinking about different ways in which this game can work and how great it can be. But definitely that was like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, these guys really want to make a game. Like, they really want to make a cool game as well. Like we saw it when we played against them at Era France, myself and C4. You see it again, like in these types of times. You see it when you challenge them on how weak some of their mechanics might be, and they say you're not seeing the nuance. And then we'll see if that is true or not. Well, we'll see. Post release.
Yeah, I'll definitely take their word for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just going to read out a couple comments as well. Shouts to Shadowbrew37. Says, I'm going to play a lot of Danger once I get the game. Her victory pose of a self-spell. Yeah, exactly. Like, it says a lot as well that they've created a zona that typically a lot of people wouldn't really play, but the design looks so interesting that everybody is saying, I'm willing to give that character a go, right? The teleports into the calibrates as well. Like, she can mix up and rush down. She can also zone. She can transition between the two very, very quickly. And actually, now that I've said that, you guys just give any last thoughts you want to give on that, and I'm going to quickly read out Mr. E, because Tales of Mr. E, shouts to Tales of Mr. E. He was at Arc World Tour with me, but he is currently away, so he's not able to jump on the podcast. So yeah, any thoughts that you think with Danger? I know C4, you said you're not really thinking you want to play a character like that, maybe a bit too much, but still, if you want to give any additional thoughts, then go right ahead. And SSK, you did also say that you were thinking you wanted to play that character as well. So first of all, we'll start off with C4 and then go to SSK.
Yeah, it's just the movement. I don't really like the Eno, Morrigan, Aegis, any character that does 6/6 and goes in the air. It's just not my thing. Everything else, it looks sick. Everything else looks sick. Tracking rockets, laser beams bouncing off of stuff like Doom. I just hope they do a Zona like that without the 6/6. That's it. Yeah, it's not my thing.
So I will also say just quickly as well, I appreciate how unapologetically they've made a Zona. It feels like in the last 7-8 years, I've wanted to sort of make a video, and I've always been lazy about it, but about how zoning is dead largely in fighting games. And I still might probably make it, but I think I would make it with the idea that there is still these glimmers of hope, because they've made this character and said, hey, it's going to be an obstacle course. They also didn't make it in the way that so 2XK also made Jinx, right? But the way in which they described Jinx in the videos was like, okay, she puts a bunch of garbage on screen and you have to deal with it, right? Which it's like I'm sure, I'll shout out Unconquerable, he himself probably didn't make the actual character. I can't remember who was the battle director. I think the designer might have been Nerd Josh. No, Nerd Josh was Caitlyn. I can't remember who actually made that character. But regardless, when you hear things like that, it doesn't instill you with this idea that, oh, this is we love this type of character to be. It feels more like, okay, this is hitting this type of ticking the box of, we should have this variety in the game. But do we necessarily want this character to be really good? Not necessarily. But in this game, they're so unapologetic. They're like, well, this character's going to be bullshit and you're going to have to deal with it, but we're going to give you the tools to deal with it, and when you overcome that, you're going to feel good about yourself, which I think is great, So I love the fact that they've made strong zoners, and there's definitely a lot to it. Also, I will say, C4, that you can block during a hover dash. Does that affect anything for you? At any time?
No, that makes it broken. I don't want to
I
play broken
agree.
characters.
I agree with you.
That hover dash is fast.
Bro,
I was watching the max footage on that, and he did he did something. I think he did a super, and obviously they got knocked back far away, and that Danger zoomed all the way to the end of the screen. I was like, oh my lord, what is that speed?
SSK as well. You could do that at the start of the round. You could do it all. There's just so much sort of ways you can manipulate her positioning and all these other types of things. It's actually nuts. That hover dash, I don't think is okay. I don't think it's okay.
She reminds me a lot of Matera from Grand Blue.
Okay.
In a way where Matera was also a character that could zone, but she also could just switch up if she wanted to and just hop in front of your face and just do about a bunch of offense. Yeah. She has that kind of Matera kind of aspect to her, where she could just really just change up the time. And that's what really makes a strong zoner, is when a zoner could just be you know what, I want to get in now, but actually just It's crazy.
100%. You know, there's only one thing I think I didn't check in the build, and that is like one of her anti-air assist is her teleport, and it teleports to the like on point. She teleports to the calibrates, but I didn't test if when you have the calibrates on screen if you can teleport into them from the assist. If you can,
Oh,
that is going to be a broken character. I already think she's getting nerfed. I've come to terms and to peace. Like 7 stages of grief, she's getting nerfed in the first like 2 months of the game. Like it's going to happen. You can't allow a character like that to have hover dash high lows, right? Yeah, you've got you know crouch heavy anti-air, but hover dash high lows, transition from defense to offense whenever you like, completely granularly affect and manipulate where you can zone and throw your fireballs and your beams. It's too much in a way that listen, I'm going to be having a great time, but I still think it's too much. Do you know what I mean? So it's So wait, did you play many because I was just going to wrap up soon, but did you play many zoners historically? SSK?
Not really actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first time I ever played anything kind of zoning crazy was like that was Team Scrub in Marvel 2. I think
Yeah.
like playing Team Scrub in Marvel 2 recently was what made me realize that like, oh, I kind of like the zoning stuff. And so like now that's what makes me kind of be more open-minded to playing Danger and Tokon.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. So just gonna go through the comments real quick, and then we're gonna wrap up. So shout out to Broski. So did you get a chance to test the durability of Danger projectiles? Like, does Iron Man's Unibeam delete them? See, this is something that real quick I've actually kind of struggled with trying to determine in this game. The durability system in this game feels closer to like a Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, where it's like per hit rather than a priority system. And so whenever I seem to throw out projectiles, it's like things clash a lot in a way where it feels like maybe they should just get absorbed. Like for example, Danger's Calibrate, you can shoot it as a regular projectile before you even start to do any of your specials. And Danger's Calibrate, I see it clashing with like Magic Fireball. But I feel like Magic Fireball should probably beat it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you're going to have the amount of zoning that Danger has, she doesn't necessarily need to have it where anything she throws out just clashes. But that's more of a symptom currently, because I completely understand the system, a symptom of the way in which the durability system works. So, did it absorb it completely? I didn't test that one specifically, but I had noticed in other situations that it was a little bit, you know, it was, stuff was clashing with each other a lot. So it was hard to determine, you know, but I'll have to check that one. Shout out to Tennessee. Oh, Tennessee Luna as well. Shout out to Tennessee Luna. Says, what's up, Chrome Alchemist? I haven't followed much about Tokon. And I don't like how the system mechanic is sounding. Well, look, we'll see. Maybe things will change. Things will change. And it says Clean Pod. Shout out to y'all. Looking forward to Tokon content as it drops. Yeah, 100%, man. You'll be able to see all three of us. You know, we'll be doing the Tokon content. And Charlie, who has just like Shadow Realmed, is oh, okay, no, he's still about. Okay, cool. He'll be back. He's just temporarily Shadow Realmed. And yeah, there's just gonna be so much to go through. So we're gonna be talking about it for the next couple months. Like I said, man, I'll tell everybody where you can find everybody at the end of this. But regardless, much appreciated for you guys coming through. And much appreciated for these guys as well to even be awake right now, because for me and C4, it's half free. But I'd be seeing you on these other streams, bro. You'd be there till 6 a.m. and all of that, bro. You're a rabid guy.
We don't talk about them streams. We don't talk about the streams.
Yeah, we don't. Redacted.
Right.
But
I'm lost. But fine games are coming back.
Dark life, his dark alternate lifestyle.
Yeah, that's my my alter ego. But 8th of April is I'm going back to good old me. Got
Nice.
Pokemon Champions, and then Invincible the day after. So
okay. Guts1022 says, can I say Magic is a Cammy from SF6 with a teleporter option? That's an interesting way of looking at it. I guess the dive kicks and whatnot makes you think of that kind of way. I mean, if I was to try and shoehorn it, because I'm not too familiar with SF6 Cammy, I mean, SF4 Cammy could vortex in a way that's pretty nasty, but that required knockdowns. This one doesn't necessarily require knockdowns. It can be done, you know, in various ways, just by making you block and putting you in certain types of situations. Tuchep also says he has the. Okay, no, he said some other stuff. I'm not going to read that one out. Magic looks like so bad girl to me. Interesting. Yeah, I could see why you would say that. Dragon Punch is a 1. Yeah, okay, I can see it. I can see it. Regardless, though, I think that like the way her fireballs and her like portal interactions work, I just think incredible character. And I think the way people like her now, I think they'll like it so much more when they actually play her. Like honestly, unless they make like no change, like some changes that like really change the way that she's looked at, I think people are definitely they're gonna love her. So yeah, I'm just gonna quickly look through some of my notes, make sure everything's sort of covered. I think it's pretty much all covered. Yeah, I mean, listen, attention to detail as well. The game looks incredible. Unique dialogue's all been crazy as well. Everything's been great. The English voice acting as well, I think, has been great. I think it's been pretty fantastic. I think most people look like they've been appreciating that. Have you guys been appreciating that too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As long as they still got Steve Blum voicing Wolverine, I have no problem.
And that is absolutely what's happened.
I think it's dope how like a lot of the there's like character specific intros and outros depending on who's fighting who and stuff. So they put a lot of effort into that.
100%. And even so just there's some like leftover stuff I've got like in terms of clips and whatnot, and there's definitely one where the mirror everyone's got like their own dialogue for mirrors, which is always great, right?
Yeah.
Like Danger
I'll just
has
do that
one.
a lot.
Yeah, and that's great, right? Like Danger's got almost, she's like, I'm the last of CR technology, so what are you, right? And the other one is like saying, what is it? For all bootleg copies must be destroyed. Thank you for understanding, or something like that. And I thought that one was pretty cool. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff there. So definitely, like attention to detail, they've always done a great job of that. Yeah, I think pretty much everything has been covered. The two things I'll quickly touch upon are the style meter and some little quirks of like Wolverine's like sort of stuff with crossover and whatnot. I guess I'll start with the crossover. I mean, Wolverine's crossover knocks you high rather than knocks you away. I think I don't know if we've really talked too much. I guess we've all talked so much. I guess we probably yeah.
Did we not talk about that?
It's a high Dragon Punch rather than like a full screen knockaway.
Yeah, Iron Man's does that as well.
Yeah,
Iron Man's knocks you into the air, then you can tech. Where some Spider-Man's knocks you to the ground. I remember because I was like, oh, the tech with this team is if I get the crossover, I can do. Sorry, yeah. So if I've got Star-Lord on point and I cross over, Spider-Man 1 did knock you back. I don't know if it does it anymore because I think in the trailer it showed him doing up kick and then they teched out. But before he would knock you down. And then what you can do is the EX grenade that has the vacuum on whiff, I guess. And then you can tag into Star-Lord and get it left, right. So, yeah, but I remember Iron Man used to do his knee DP and you would air recover. And I was like, you would definitely want the knockdown one all the time, I would assume.
I never actually noticed that. That different crossovers do like up or horizontally or vertically.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So, there's a handful of them, but like, some do have the knock up situation rather than the full screen situation. To me, the value of both of those is that like one, obviously, if you're more of a defensive character or somebody who wants to create the distance in order to set up what you're doing right in neutral, then you'd want the full screen one. But the DP one, you could probably create some sort of mix up situations, right? Like as they're landing. I think that was much stronger before the assist change. Now with the assist change and the fact that people can call assist in the air, maybe means that's not going to be as strong. And that's something, maybe if another beta happens, we could maybe try and abuse something like that and maybe show these guys, is that something that's worth, checking out? Maybe they've already thought about it and they said, hey, we've already got a solution and that's not a problem, right?
Yeah. One thing that was really good is they gave indicators for invincible moves, hard knockdowns, and stuff
overheads,
like that. That was really
lows, all of them. Yeah. 100%.
I didn't get the fireball one because whenever you did a fireball, it would say good. I never got that one. I don't know why it does that.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
But,
too tough actually.
My headcanon was like, oh, that means everyone's got guile like sonic booms where you can do a regular one and a perfect one, but I don't think that's the case.
Well, I know you could just defend everything, right? There's always like a perfect or just, so you can then create a situation with If you
Right,
just defend
yeah.
things, you could minimize the chip or minimize the also like have some sort of frame advantage. I will say this about you know, as much as I'm gushing over zoning right now and how great it is, I did notice that you could cross over the zoning. So if somebody's throwing stuff at you from full
Yeah,
screen, yeah,
that is hilarious.
And I
yeah,
think the strike
Feels
is
like a
safe.
waste.
I could never punish it in the beta. I could never like even if I baited it and blocked it, it would knock me up. It was like a really weird. It was like a uni like under night animation where you blocked it on the ground, but the move would always pop you up, so you had to wait till you landed again till you press a button. I think that was just them saying, yeah, you can bait it, but you can't get a punish off of it. I was like, okay, that's fine. But yeah, super weird, super weird.
100%. Anything else you want to say on there, SSK? I know you were saying something earlier.
No, I was just I was more so surprised about the assist because I didn't know about that with the verticals, the crossovers at all, doing like vertical
Right.
hits or like horizontal assists. So that's something I kind of want to look into now.
Yeah.
When I like play the beta or like watch footage now.
Mm-hmm.
I
No, absolutely.
Off memory, the horizontal ones were rarer, and Star-Lord's got one. He just does like the end of his auto combo with the guns. He just knocks you straight back. But most of the other people do upwards ones. Spider-Man, Cap, Iron Man. I don't know what Ghost Rider does. Can't remember what Ghost Rider does. And I think Kamala punches you, and I think you go horizontal. So yeah,
Really?
I don't have to. I'm pretty sure she does. I don't think she does the DP as a reversal. Yeah, I think she just does the punch.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm gonna take a look at that as well. This is what I'm see. That's why like there's so many things that are happening in this game that like it's hard for me to like when somebody says, "Hey, you just not played enough," you have to concede because there's like these like so many different situations, right? Even when I was playing against Mr. Third Floor as well, shout out to at Mr. Third Floor over in Korea as well. He was like doing little things with Storm, these like micro situations that were just like crazy. I was like, man, this is like the kind of stuff where if you're playing for like many hours, you could create so many more of these. But he was also, when I was playing, I was like doing crossover for free. And I was like, oh, you know you can reflect that. He goes, oh, I didn't even know that. But he could play in a way where he could just use his fundamentals and his knowledge of like fighting, because he played like Marvel 2 and Marvel 3 as well, and just create all these little micro situations. It was so interesting just to see all of that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's something to actually go and take a look at and look at some of the footage. Actually, that diagonal one is really, really interesting. So final thing I'll just go through as well is Star Meter. Look, people had asked me to test the Star Meter when I went there, and I struggled. And I also asked some of the team. I said, the style meter thing, what's going on with it, right? And they go, look, it's not an overt UI based thing like a DMC smoking stick style. It's an internal back end thing, right? It rewards like just not you do different unique moves, don't scale as much, so it rewards that. And I was like, okay, all right, fair enough. I mean, it's not as sexy, right? I can't, when I tell people that, they're going to be like, well, that's not very interesting at all, right? It's just something that you would appreciate as you play the game some more. I honestly think they should probably just add something into the game that just shows it in some way. Like, just to sort of make it more visually appealing for people and to be like, oh man, I want to do something cool and unique. Because I do think back to when I was like a kid and I'd play Marvel 2, and I would just pick like 3 beam characters and just do a super and start mashing and see like 300 hits and be like, yeah, come on, 300 hits. Like, that kind of stuff is appreciated by people and I think is probably worth doing. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not as sexy as people thought it was going to be to begin with. I don't know.
You know what?
Go ahead.
My thought was when I saw it, and I didn't want to be a Debbie Downer. What they did is they moved the issue they had with MVCI, which is you can do an ABC launch knockdown assist in MVCI, and it does the exact same damage as like the most ridiculous hard execution combo because of how the damage scaling works. With this, what they've done is Multiverses had this where I can't remember what they called it. It was something like I think Smash might have it as well. Basically, when you use the same move over and over again in a combo, because the game doesn't have like a standard hit scaling, where it's like, oh, the longer you are in the combo, the quicker your hit stun is, and then eventually you pop out. They don't have that. So they're saying, okay, if you use different moves in the game and try not to repeat the same attack, you get more damage. That's all it is. So when you do ABC knockdown lariat, ABC knockdown lariat, you're going to do less damage because you keep using the same moves. It's just proration, but they said it in a really fancy way, which is good. I don't know why they said it like the way they did, because like you said, yeah, it's all going to be back end stuff. It's you're not going to see the fruits of doing the crazy combo unless you're looking at the numbers, not the letters. You have to look at the numbers, and you'll see the damage is going to be higher.
SSK, you wanted to chime?
Smoking sexy style. Yeah, it's like because when they did say that, I was like, oh, it's like because when I tried to read the whole tweet when they first put it out, and I was like, okay, so it's literally just the more variety your combos have, the more damage you'll do. Okay, cool. And I mess with that a lot. It would be really cool though if they had added like a visual flair to it, that could like make obviously more casual players see, hey, this is actually doing something, so I don't know. It would be worth a really good idea, I think.
I think a sick way they could do it, and I don't know if a game's done it. You have the combo counter for the amount of hits, but the text would come up when you use 4 attacks that are all different. Then it says something like good. If you use 5 attacks that are different, it will say amazing. You do 6 like that. So you have like 2 counters, one for the actual hits and one for the different moves, and that would be the text. And then that will give you the super sexy stylish or whatever. They could do that. They probably won't do that, but that would be a good way to implement it.
Yeah.
I think that was definitely their mistake was just giving it a name, right? Once they gave it a name, people were like, oh, this is a mechanic that we should pay attention to. And then I tell people, oh, it's just backhand stuff. They're like, oh, what? Do you know what I mean? It's and I will say though, it definitely made a difference. There's only one combo I can specifically think about during the sets that I had recorded, where one time I did it against Mr. E. You can check in the Mr. E video. I don't have the timestamp right now, but basically, I did a H starter, and I always forget, like, when I don't play Arxis games for ages, how much the difference that makes. I did a H starter against his character with Danger. When I finished my B&B, I did like 60% damage, and I said to him, like, wait, did I tag or call an assist? Or did you call an assist? Did I have you? He goes, no, that was just a regular combo. And I said, really? It did so much damage in a way that I was like, this is actually kind of crazy. And honestly, just briefly as well on auto combos, because people had said before, it feels like I don't have to do normal combos because auto combos do so much damage. But the thing is about auto combos, right? The things you lose by doing an auto combo, the meter builds, right? The carry. There's like a bunch of different things that you actually give up. But initially, because the most gratifying thing and the most important thing, I suppose, as well, initially, is the damage. You're not really going to care. You're going to think to yourself, well, why should I care? The damage is there. But if you do the damage and I have, 60 meter while you have 30 meter, that will make a difference, right? In EXs and all these other types of things. So, just going to quickly go through this and then we're going to wrap up. We're almost done. Shout out to Spada Jerome in chat as well. In the YouTubes, and also shout outs to on Twitch. Temple Nuts was talking about same reparation, that's correct. Broski also said, I think this is their solution to the Spider Infinites. It would probably do close to no damage if repeated moves scale harder, and that is actually true. And actually, I'm willing for that to be a good compromise, honestly. I think that's a good idea. Like, you can keep that stuff in while saying, okay, but the punishment is that you need to do something more interesting now, otherwise you're just not really going to get the meter and the damage that you think you're going to get, right? Loop it if you like, but to what end? We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. All right, then. I think that's basically it. Also, Tuchep just finally said, because Blaze Blue players cried hard at the same reparation. Okay, he's going off to Blaze Blue players. Shout out to Blaze Blue players. I have no problem with you guys. Please direct your hate mail to him. And Jerome says, GG's to Scream. So, all right, we are wrapping up. Thank you guys for sitting through. Thanks to all the panel as well for actually being patient. I need to actually get some hard limits and let people know ahead of time because I could be there talking forever. and we don't want to have that because you guys' times are precious. So shout outs to everybody for the peak of about, I think, 27 to 30 viewers in YouTube. It's about 15 or 20 or so in Twitch. Much appreciated. Glad you can make it. We're going to make sure we make this, you know, it's been a regular thing anyway. We got up to episode 6. We're going to try and get up to that 10th episode. And I'm going to be up there at the cookout right now, you know, celebrating. I actually got a podcast episode 10. Didn't actually drive it into the ground. So, anyway, C4IQ, where can they find you when you're not on here?
Twitch, IMC4IQ, and YouTube. Tomorrow, I think I want to upload the other set between me and you, Chrome.
Sweet. I like that. I like that. Because I can't lie, I had to panic and delete some of that stuff from the previous beta, and it was like Sophie's choice. I went in with like stuff on my hard drive, and then I was running out of space because I was recording stuff in like 8K, and then I was like, "Oh my god, I have to delete. Oh no, I'll just delete it, man. This stuff's more important. People care more about this stuff." I just deleted a bunch of crap. So I'm glad that you have it. Actually, that's 100%. Did you get more audio on that as well, by the way? Because I think it was cool.
I didn't get audio.
666. That's great. Yeah. That's great. Awesome. All right. Cool. So, Earthbender Charlie, where can they find you?
You can find me on Earthbender Charlie on YouTube and EB Charlie on Twitter.
And what will you be playing when you're on there? Because I see you on there playing games. What are you playing?
I'm not playing anything fighting game related. The whole time this during
anything.
I was playing the Bazaar. The Bazaar is like a deck building drafting card game. And but if I'm streaming, I'm usually having a game stream identity crisis and hiding that by playing Monster Hunter Wilds. But yeah, more fighting game stuff will be coming as Tokon gets closer. Hopefully, maybe.
Oh, that's good to hear. We thought you were retired for a second. This guy's always on non-fighting games, but you said you might play some Tokon when it drops. I like the sound of that.
That's what happens when fucking Street Fighter doesn't have my character, and you know, character crisis in multiple games.
Listen, Makoto's coming, man. Like Makoto and Sean.
Bro, if she's not coming in season 4, I'm not only gonna uninstall SF6 from my Steam, I'm gonna find a way to refund it somehow. Even though I've had it for like multiple years. There will be a way. I'll complain to Steam. I'll be like, listen, my character's not there. Please feel my pain.
Would you play Makoto even if she married a cousin?
Oh my god.
very, very topical. I respect it. And yes, I would. I don't care if she marries her cousin, kills her grandma, and penetrates a dog. I'm playing Makoto.
Oh my god, he really went there.
Oh, wow.
Don't care. We can have that discussion. But for those that don't know,
we're clipping that, by the way. We're clipping it.
Forth about people that were claiming that, I'm going to drop Alex because he slept with his cousin. I'm saying that they're just virtue signalers. Like, you're gonna, if that's what's gonna make you stop playing a character, you never cared about the character, you never cared about the gameplay. You just want to let people know that you're virtuous. So, but that's a whole other topic for another conversation.
Talking Tokon extra. It's definitely happening. We'll talk about that at some point.
After hours.
I've been sitting here charging up, so you guys just like, you just open the floodgates.
Hey.
This guy cast Bide for like 3 hours. Now it's just like...
Yeah.
My days. That was sick. That was sick. No problem. Listen, Gay Ben, he's going to be a Makoto player in secret, so he'll be like, you can get the refund, bro. I wanted her to. Anyway. SSK... saved the best till last. Where can they find you? Listen, if you watch any Marvel Token content, you can find them. But please, we're going to do it as a formality. Where can they find you?
Yes. You can find me on Twitter on DSSK_. And then on YouTube, it will be DSSK_1.
Awesome. And what's maybe we won't spoil whatever your sneak peeks are for your next videos, but what's the last video you just uploaded? We'll just let people know as well.
Last video uploaded was the Marvel Tokon roster predictions. It just got way harder. It's talking about the new team that was recently revealed and talking about what that team could mean for the rest of the roster.
Sounds awesome.
And exclusive for this chat, for people watching, the next video is going to be talking about who a character is that you all might not know. Gladiator. I'm going to be talking about Gladiator for the next video. Yep.
I'm going to tune into that one for sure. That's very interesting.
Is it going to be like a lore video?
Huh? Yeah, lore video. Yep.
Okay.
It'll be a lore video. It's gonna be a new video series planning.
Oh, you stole my idea. That's good. I can delete all my plays, man.
No. You know. Okay,
Hey.
listen. I'm not gonna play matchmaker, and obviously don't listen to me to like feel it as any type of pressure. But you guys should definitely do a little video together as well at some point. I don't know how you would set
That'd
that
be
up,
sick.
but that'd be cool.
You know what? I'll send you all. I did one for like Wolverine, but I did stuff like how many times Wolverine's won a tournament. So I tried to do the comic stuff
Interesting.
and the fighting game stuff. I'll send you it if you think it's a good idea. Let me know.
For sure. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. So, all right, and myself at Chrome Alchemist on Twitter, at Advancing God TV on YouTube, all one words, and will I be doing the whole flying out to this tournament, like to go and do 100 hours worth of footage again? Well, maybe, to be honest with you, but not likely to the next one. Evo Japan, I don't think I'll be going to that. So anyone who does get that Penny Parker footage, I'm going to be in your comments, please, like requesting just about everything. And I hope you do a great job as well. And yeah, man, like I'm going to be doing lots more token content. This has restored the feeling for me in a way that I hadn't got in a while. Marvel 3 was the last game that truly did give me that type of feeling. And will this consistently do it? We'll see. But for sure, I definitely want to take this game. You know, I'm going to go full body on this one. So commentary and competing will probably both. Well, commentary is 100% likely. Competing is likely as well, to be honest with you. I'm definitely on board with this game. And as you can see, we all love it. You know what I'm saying? So do check out all of our stuff, even though Charlie's got an identity crisis as of right now. Once they put Makoto in Marvel Token Fighting Souls, he will be on board there, front and center. I'm telling you, bro.
True.
He's Karakusa grabs, and it's going to be like EX Karakusa grab with hidden missiles assist, and it's going to be the best thing you've ever seen.
It's going to be the EX Karakusa. I'm going to fucking cancel the startup frames to extend the Karakusa grab you out of nowhere, thin air. It's going to be very enjoyable.
She's going to look like she's crip walking when you're doing it. She's going to do the, you know what I mean? And then she's going to just be crip walking up and down, blood shuffling, depending on what affiliation. You know what I mean? I don't know what the Vice Lords do when they dance, but someone, you know what I mean? Everyone's dancing. It's going to be crazy stuff. So we're going to love it, you know, and I'm sure you guys are going to love it too. So I'm sure the next time you see us, either will be when they announce the next character and show us some more footage. Maybe then we'll also get some Penny Parker footage to go through and glean. And we'll shout out whoever does also get that footage. So, I have been Chrome Alchemist. This has been C4IQ, also Earthbender Charlie, and last but certainly not least, SSK. Talkin Tokon episode 6. It's been emotional. Safe you lot. Stay out of trouble. Until next time. Safe.